remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She can put away a large pizza by herself. He's allergic to cheese. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
I can't tell, Perloff, if Jerry Jones is trying to throw shade at your Eagles or if he's really being serious. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, the new morning show right here on CBS Sports Radio.
I usually tolerate Jerry Jones, Cowboys owner. I find him entertaining. I think it's great that he's so accessible, that he says so many things. But he's crossed the line, Maggie.
Uh-oh. Now Jerry's gotten on your bad side.
This is too far.
Look out, Jerry. You don't want to make an enemy of Perloff. That's the last place you want to be. Jerry Jones, obviously, there's a massive game coming up this weekend. You've got the Cowboys. You've got the San Francisco 49ers, teams that have met in the playoffs the last 2 seasons. And Jerry had some interesting words about that. He believes that the NFC runs through San Francisco. Pete, can we hear a little of Jerry Jones? How about cut 10, please?
They are right now probably the most likely team to go in the Super Bowl. And but in order for them to get there, they've got to go by us, hopefully 2 times, if that's the way it falls in the playoffs. And we're in the playoffs, of course. But the bottom line is that you're playing the best. This is certainly you don't need the game to tell you that you're playing the best, but you need the game to show you how you stack up against the best.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. Well, okay. So Jerry's saying that the 49ers are the best, but I know you would feel some type of way about this because your Philadelphia Eagles are also, like the Niners, 4-0.
Get your damn act together.
As I recall, the Eagles beat the 49ers handily in the NFC title game.
Okay, asterisks.
What asterisks?
Quarterbacks got hurt.
They got hurt because the Eagles hurt them. And I don't know why that would be any different if they played again. Also, the Eagles are 4-0. What is all the sky is falling for the Philadelphia Eagles? They're 4-0. The Niners are 4-0. And also, listen, I understand that Jerry Jones understands playoff football because he has a great seat on his couch to watch it, especially the conference title games, which he hasn't been to since the 90s. I don't want to hear this. This feels like total disrespect to a divisional foe. He has to play twice. What's Jerry doing?
Okay, but just answer honestly.
Yeah.
Who is playing better right now, the Eagles or the 49ers? I'll answer it for you. It's the 49ers. They so far looked way more complete, intact. They've taken their game to the next level. It almost feels like even Brock Purdy is kind of, who put it this way, went from a singles hitter to a doubles hitter. Maybe a San Francisco writer put it that way. It's like it makes them dangerous. I don't think he belongs in the MVP conversation. I thought that was a little bit far, but right now, the 49ers are playing better.
And what's the signature win here that we got? So they beat the Steelers in week 1. They beat them 30-7. It was interesting at the time that they slowed down the Steelers' offense. It turns out the Steelers have the worst offense in the league. They
Didn't know that at the time.
They edged the Rams, and they beat the Giants and the Arizona Cardinals. You have no idea who this Niners team.
And they look dominant.
Who cares? They beat the Giants. Who has not looked dominant against the New York Giants? The Seahawks did. The Cowboys obviously did. The Philadelphia Eagles are fine. It's not like they've been in real danger of losing a game. 4-0 is 4-0, Maggie. It's not moral victory time. The Eagles are fine. And the other thing, too, San Francisco, they better get home field because if they have to come to the Link again, forget it. They have no chance to get out of the NFC.
Well, I don't know about no chance. Okay.
That was a little fandom speaking there.
Yeah.
But I do think
Easy,
people are discounting the Eagles. Listen, Jalen Hurts has decided I'm not going to run until the playoffs. That's his choice. The other thing, too, is they have all these guys who are proven winners in the playoffs. The Cowboys have none of those guys. They still have Kelsey and Lane Johnson and Jalen Hurts. I think discounting the Eagles is dangerous. It's an overreaction to the first 4 weeks of the season.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, so that was Jerry, maybe intentionally or unintentionally.
Yeah. Jerry's trolling me.
Yeah, just wants to get under your skin. He's like, did they start a morning show? And can I get Perloff upset before 6 o'clock in the morning Eastern?
Well, just shut up and let me answer.
So that's not the only thing going on with the Cowboys, yes.
But by the way, you're getting me upset, too. You clearly think the NFC goes through the Niners.
Right now, I think it does. I'm sorry.
How can you betray me? I'm all about your Buffalo Bills.
Sort of. You bring up 13 seconds in the Music City Miracle every chance you get. But yeah, sure. Now you're on the Bills.
Yeah, I gave an interview about our show yesterday, and I said one thing that I'm noticing is now that we're in the morning, we root against each other's teams even harder. Because seeing somebody come in the morning all smiles because your team won, like me this morning with the Philadelphia Phillies, it's an obnoxious sight. Like you don't want a winner at 6 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, it's just like it's an unbalanced vibe when one person is super happy and the other's like, ugh.
Yeah, Monday morning after the Bills blew out the Dolphins, you were unbearable. Sorry.
Just wait. It's only October. More on the Cowboys. So Cowboys, 49ers, massive. This is Sunday Night Football this week. Didn't think that this would be the secret weapon. But according to Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, they have the secret weapon. Trey Lance. Brian Schottenheimer said that they are mining Trey Lance for all of the secrets that the 49ers have, and this is going to be the key. I don't know if this is why they actually traded a third-round pick for Trey Lance. Third rounder, right? Not fourth.
I thought it was a fourth.
Fourth rounder? Details.
We'll check that.
Can Trey Lance be the secret weapon, the one thing that the Dallas Cowboys have been missing in these last two big matchups with the 49ers? They just need a little intel.
This happens all the time. It was a 4th-round pick. This happens all the time. A team picks up the cut quarterback like a Trevor Siemian or Trey Lance. You don't think that Kyle Shanahan's going to change the plays? You think he's going to give him the same hand signals so Lance can just sit there and say what play is coming? No way. Shanahan knows that Trey Lance was there. This is never a problem.
So I think that this is a little delusional from the Cowboys also. If you are really counting on Trey Lance, who, by the way, like, yes, was part of the 49ers and, a high draft pick and everything, but he's been hurt and kind of away from the team.
Well, he was there. He was there.
Sure, he's there, but yeah, is he really going to be able to provide the secret sauce and be able to decode the 49ers for the Cowboys? I think it's pretty straight up. The 49ers get more physical with the Cowboys. They're able to stifle Dak Prescott, and that's what they've been able to do, confuse Prescott and get into a physical matchup. It's not brain surgery. I don't think you need Trey Lance to come in and be like, here's the cheat code on how you can finally beat us.
The thing about the Niners offense, too, they have so many different weapons. They can hit you with McCaffrey, with Kittle, with Debo. So they have different options. It's not like the Cowboys, I think, are more of a one-trick pony. Like, I think the Niners understand the Cowboys. Even with Trey Lance, the Cowboys don't understand what's coming from the Niners.
That's true. 855-212-4CBS. EJ, you look like you want to say something.
No, I mean, I think with this Niners, Cowboys, Eagles whole triangle, I don't know if a love triangle, maybe a hate triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Right between these teams. I just feel like it's kind of crazy that the Eagles were so dominant last season. And the Cowboys have a team that's in their division that they have not usurped, by the way. They have not found a way to win this division, at least they didn't last season, that they're jumping ahead to a different team. It almost feels like they're not really focusing on the now and what's in front of them, which is trying to win a division.
Preach, EJ. I am so with you. The Eagles did lose to them with Gardner Minshew, but they've owned the Cowboys. I am not scared of the Cowboys at all. I am scared of the Niners. The Cowboys is all hype this season so far because the same old Cowboys. They've been 12-5 2 years in a row. We know what happens in the postseason. Who's your Super Bowl pick again?
So full disclosure for the new audience, I did pick the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl this year. I have them playing the Jacksonville Jaguars in the Super Bowl. I couldn't put my Bills in there. I didn't want to be too much of a homer and a mush, and I was a little concerned about some things. I'm no longer concerned about those things. The Bills look awesome, but I did think the Cowboys were going to take a significant step. I thought the offense with Mike McCarthy was going to be a little bit more balanced. They have been. They've been very good. But you're right. It's all going to come down to the postseason. But I have a little personally at stake here with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be a consensus because it's in San Francisco. If San Francisco just boat races them, then everyone's going to look at Dallas differently. They might be 12-5, but they have to prove that they're in the same category as the Niners and the Eagles. So I'm dismissing Jerry, but I will acknowledge the Niners are going to be a tough team. It's got to be in Philly. I was at that game last year.
Yeah,
it's a different atmosphere altogether. If the Eagles probably are not as talented as the Niners, but something happens. I think the officials are scared of the crowd, and I don't know what happens. I think
someone's going to throw a battery at their head.
Yeah, I think the only thing stopping the Niners is the Eagles. Jerry was right; they are obviously our Super Bowl threat. They've looked dominant, but I do think that discounting the Eagles because of a slow start is a huge mistake. The Eagles are 4-0. That's all that matters. They have a way tougher schedule coming up. They have a lot of tricks that they haven't used yet. I mean, Jalen Hurts hasn't run the ball yet. I feel like that offensive line, if it stays healthy, they always have a high winning percentage. And the defense, they're adjusting to two new coordinators.
Yeah.
It takes time. They're going to be fine.
I think a poll question today, EJ, could be, who does the NFC run through? Does it run through the 49ers? Does it run through the Cowboys? Does it run through the Eagles? I think the Cowboys deserve to be on that.
Okay.
Let's do all three.
I mean, we could get some
flying in the face of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I was going to say Detroit might not be happy about that.
We have a lot of fans people are fans of the Seahawks coming off a big win on Monday night.
They look good too.
That's my Super Bowl pick.
Seahawks?
Hawks coming out of the NFC, yeah.
Who do you have in the AFC?
AFC, I had the Bengals, so Bengals winning it all.
Seahawks, Bengals, that doesn't feel like a Super Bowl matchup.
I mean, those teams have been in the Super Bowl not that long from now. Like Bengals a couple years ago, Seahawks. I was a teenager, but it happened. Oh no, I wasn't a teenager. I was in college when they beat in year.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
When they beat Denver. I kind of forget. Everybody forgets that Super Bowl because they swashed the Broncos that year.
I think I sat next to you at that Super Bowl.
Yes, in the Meadowlands?
In the Meadowlands.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was not a fun game.
It's so funny. EJ's like, I was in college in that Super Bowl. It's like, I was a working professional. I was definitely post-college.
Year one of CBS Sports Radio.
Really?
Same year.
Second year of it, but the first full year. That was on that Super Bowl.
And Pete's been here the whole time. Pete, who was your Super Bowl pick? You got one?
I like the 49ers, but I mean, I had to say about the Eagles last week, discounting last week.
Yeah.
They're strong, and they're my early pick. So my early pick was the Eagles, so I'm going to go Eagles,
Okay.
and I'm going to go Bills.
How dare you?
Sounds like you just made that up on the spot. And it sounds like you also, too, you're trying to get on the good side of the two hosts here.
Eagles, Bills.
Eagles, Bills. Bilotti, come on. We see through that.
I want a verbal brawl between you two. I
was going to say.
Brings the attention.
You guys think that would be good for the show to have both of our teams playing against each other in the Super Bowl? And it might be, but the fallout from that, especially if it's controversial, like what happened at the end of the Eagles Chiefs, with a defensive holding call or something like that.
That'll be good too.
It will tear the show from limb. Like we'll have to do it in separate studios.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's realignment and they can play in the AFC playoffs, there's no way it's going to be a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl because the Bills will always find the banana peel.
All right, here we go. Let's hit the phones early. Jose is in Boise. Good morning, Jose.
Good morning. I was waking up and I was like, I got to listen to them. I have listened to you for the last 2 days. And I just want to welcome you into the new morning slot.
Well, thank you.
I think you guys do a really good job. I love all the content that you guys offer and everything. So
thank you. Who do you like better, me or Perloff?
I am definitely going to be listening to you every morning. So
thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. You're the best for checking in. He didn't want to answer my question.
Yeah, I thought he was going to say. Usually people say you. A lot of people call into the show and say, I never agree with Perloff except this one time.
Yes, it forces people to the phones. Like, usually I'm with Maggie on this, but I had to, or they always apologize. Like, Maggie, I'm always with you, but you're way off on this one.
There seems to be a pattern there, but there's so many calls. I'm like, well, a lot of people are agreeing with me, but they say they never usually agree with me.
Yes, it's like a holiday when they do, so they have to call in and be known, make it known. Okay. Cowboys, we got the poll up. Who does the NFC run through? Massive game. I mean, I know it's Wednesday, but it's never too early to look ahead to Cowboys 49ers, one of the games of the weekend, probably the game of the weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Who do your Bills got this weekend?
They're in London to play the Jags.
Oh, that's your Super Bowl team and your favorite team.
I know, and also massively unfair. The Jags have been in London for a week. They're basically British at this point. The Bills have to come over and get acclimated to the body clock. I don't like it because the NFL's unfair. 855-212-4CBS. So much to do, including Andrew Bogish now in studio with us. He's got the latest on everything from the baseball playoffs last night, and we will talk more about the biggest story in the NFL concerning one of the most storied franchises in the NFL. We'll do that. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff just getting started here on this Wednesday, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show. Little tired. Maggie B's always up watching my Philadelphia Phillies in the playoffs.
I knew
with
it.
a victory. Ring the bell. Yeah, baby.
What superstars?
Yeah, that's the team. I can't even mess around. Your team looks really strong. I just have to hope if you do get past the Marlins, which it looks like you're going to, you're going to face the Braves next. So you're probably going to be going home.
Oh, I don't know about that. There was a moment last night on ESPN where they were discussing the Mount Rushmore of great Phillies of all time. And then they transitioned into how the 93 team was the coolest team ever. Those are my two favorite topics.
I'm sick to my stomach here, guys.
I want
intervene.
this postseason to last forever. Yeah, it's exciting.
Okay.
How the Mets? Oh, right.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
I really want to. I'm with you, Andrew. I want this postseason to just. I'm savoring the moments, especially in that NL East bracket. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, dripping with sarcasm, Pete, as we are very burned Mets fans. But here's one thing about baseball, and Andrew Bogusch is here, and I'm sure he's got some more headlines for us on what happened last night. But can I just stand up for the Rays fans? No one's going to do it today. So allow
That's because
me.
there are none. What Rays fans are you standing up for?
I know there's more Rays fans at Yankees spring training, I think, than at an actual Rays game. But here, can I please stand up for them and for the fact that only 19,000 people showed up to the game? Okay.
Yes.
First of all, people can't just drop everything to go to a baseball game on a Tuesday at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Why not?
The stadium stinks. I know the team's good, and they're good despite some major injuries to their pitching staff. Whatever. That's not the point. The point is we got to give fans a little bit of a break here. Sometimes you can't just, uproot your life to go sit at a baseball game at 3:00 in the afternoon. We've got, responsibilities.
Well, how come this is the lowest attended playoff game since 1919? So over the last 100 years, fans of other teams have found a way to get to the game. Everybody else gets to the game. Every other stadium is packed. And this argument that they shouldn't have afternoon playoff baseball, like that.
No, it's not
that's
they shouldn't.
ridiculous.
It's just you can't expect people not to show up in droves.
It's after school. Bring the kids.
Yeah, bring the kids.
Take them out of school.
I don't know. I also don't like games that start at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So I really want this both ways. I want that every game to start at 7 Eastern.
I don't understand. This is one of your worst takes, Maggie. You're saying that
somebody's got to stand up for the Rays fans.
1919 was the last time it was under 20,000 for a playoff game.
I know. I don't think women had the right to vote then. Come a long way, baby. A really long time. Really glad that law changed. Good morning, Andrew Bogusch. It's great to see you in person.
You guys look amazing in person.
I know. We're really, really stunningly gorgeous.
All right. Are you going to tell anything true during this segment?
Oh, sit tight. We'll find out. Headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protections in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. The Miami Marlins let down 99% of America last night.
The 0-1 pitch. Swung on, ripped down the left field line. That's going to be a base hit for Castellanos. Harper's off to the races, around second. He's heading for third. The helmet comes flying off. They're going to wave him to the plate. The relay home is not in time. Wow. Harper scores from first as Castellanos is in at third. And the Phillies take a 4-1 lead.
Scott Fransky on Phillies radio. The RBI double from Nick Castellanos capping off a 4-1 win to start this best-of-3 wild card series. Feel free to have your guys better prepared to play today, Marlins manager Skip Schumacher.
I think they know what's at stake. They know what tomorrow means, and we're going to do the same thing we've always done: is go in, game plan, and try to win. And beat Nola tomorrow. That's what we have always done, and I don't think that's going to change tomorrow.
Yep, Aaron Nola pitches tonight for Philly after Zach Wheeler K'd 8, working into the 7th for them last night.
Bogusch, I just want to point out one thing. When Bryce Harper scored there on the Castellanos hit, he went through a stop sign. That's what winners do.
Yeah. Knocked his helmet off too, right?
Yeah, that's the kind of baseball. If I played professional baseball, that's how I would ignore the third base coach, knock the helmet off, have the hair flowing in the wind, and score. That's what winners do. And I understand this is killing you to do a Phillies win, but get used to it, buddy.
What a man.
Well, I will be honest here. I was going to defend you yesterday when you were talking about how much Bryce loves Philly and team chemistry, but Pete wouldn't put my mic on. He didn't want me to support you, but you're actually right in that moment.
Honestly, I feel like Bryce Harper rounds third base, gets to home, and then just goes and humps the Liberty Bell. I mean, it's a little much.
No, it's amazing. He was wearing a Trey Turner T-shirt all week. He's been wearing Trey Turner T-shirts. I was going to wear an Andrew Bogusch T-shirt to show solidarity here.
So
but it depends on how you do the Phillies reads.
We're actually going to douse you with water every time you do a read.
That's fine. And I would absolutely wear Philly Fanatic cleats. I'm in on that. I get it. The Diamondbacks took game 1 in Milwaukee 6-3 after spotting the Brewers the first 3 runs of that game. Catcher Gabriel Moreno hit the tie-breaking 425-foot homer in the 4th for Arizona. The Rays made 4 errors in front of those 19 fans to give game 1 at the Trop to the Rangers 4-zip. And the Twins won a playoff game for the first time in 19 years.
And the 3-1 pitch, a swing and a fly ball, right center field deep, Springer back. He will turn, back it goes, gone! Unbelievable! Royce Lewis, welcome to October baseball. 2 at-bats, 2 home runs. This kid is amazing. It is 3-0 Twins.
Courtesy of Twins Radio, Royce Lewis providing all the offense in a 3-1 decision over the Blue Jays. Minnesota's last postseason win was 2004. Their last postseason home win was 2002. They were playing in the Metrodome then, and Kent Herbeck was still their first baseman.
Wow.
Wait, can we do something today? We've got hours now in front of us here with the show. Can everyone, if you can, find a picture of yourself from 2004?
But we didn't have cell phones to take a million pictures, but I could try.
Do you think you have a photo on Facebook or something of yourself from 2004?
I might have started on Facebook in 2004.
Okay.
Actually, I think I do because I met my wife in 2005, and there's some early pictures of that.
There you
By
go.
the way, you made that up about Ken Herbeck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Definitely playing in the Metrodome in 2002, but he was not their first baseman.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably Justin Morneau, if memory serves
There you
correct,
go.
But Metrodome jokes are always good. Today's schedule is yesterday's schedule with Game 2 in Tampa leading off at 3 Eastern. He might already be there. Maybe he's coming this morning. James Harden expected to join the Sixers at training camp in Colorado. We don't know yet if he'll actually step on the court with them. Whispers continue that Harden's plan is to make things so awkward and painful that Philly has to trade him to somebody for anything. Patriots.
So you can't all be good in Philly.
Are the Flyers good? I haven't
No,
gotten there yet.
they had a bad year. So this Harden thing is going to be amazing to watch. I got to
Do you think
tell you.
he'll carry the cell phone in his pocket like Ben Simmons did, waiting for a trade?
Yeah, that was great. I can't wait to see. I mean, Jimmy Butler, of course, fights his way out of town. What is Harden going to do? Can he show up more overweight? What's his plan?
It's got to be pretty spectacular considering this is the third time he's attempting to pull something like this off in 2 years.
Can I suggest something that we've seen in movies before? Show up with, strippers on each arm.
Yeah.
Maybe come in from the night before.
This is kind of a thing, like, people hire like an airplane that has like carrying a sign behind it that's like fire so-and-so or like, trade so-and-so. He should do the airplane. It's like, trade me. Just flying over Philly, just circling.
Daryl Morey's a liar.
Yeah,
flies
right.
over the facility.
Exactly.
I don't know what you could specifically do, but I would like to live in a world where the Sixers couldn't get anything for trading him since they signed up for his nonsense in the first place.
Well, no, to be fair, they had to get rid of Ben Simmons. So
But they didn't have to take back James Harden.
Well,
Could have taken Tyrese Halliburton.
as bad as Harden,
De'Aaron Fox.
that there's no confirmation that trade was actually on the table.
Sacramento really wanted James Harden, and they had their choice of Halliburton or Fox, and they
Can you shut off EJ's mic right now? I don't even want to hear this. I got Bogus on the Phillies. I don't need to hear about trades that didn't happen. I think this Harden thing is going to be really fun. Because Harden doesn't help the Sixers win anything anyway. I don't care if he's there or not. But him trying to fight his way out of town,
It's going to be awesome.
it's going to be spectacular.
And nobody should want him, but somebody clearly is going to take him and tell us that he'll be okay here. He's going to make the difference
I
and
don't
whatever.
know.
Yeah, Maggie doesn't think that anyone is going to take him.
Well, because is he the value add? Like, at least when he was, getting his way out of Houston, then getting his way out of Brooklyn, there were still like maybe redeeming value and qualities there. Now we've seen him. How many more playoff bed bleeps do we need from Harden? Like, which actual contender is going to want him on the floor in any kind of crunch time?
There's always one, though, right?
Yeah.
And what was Durant's line last week? You can't wiggle too many times, or he had some line about like you causing too many problems. Eventually, people stop paying attention.
Yeah, he's one to talk.
Well, he knows. He stopped at 3.
Yeah, right.
4 is where you can't go. Patriots linebacker Matthew Judon is having surgery today for Sunday's biceps injury. He'll reportedly miss 2 months. Deion Sanders expects Travis Hunter to miss at least 2 more games. That's Arizona State and Stanford. The wideout/corner still recovering from a lacerated liver. And there's soccer tonight in Chicago. The Fire moved their game when they're in Miami to Soldier Field. 61,000 fans bought tickets. But Messi continues to deal with a leg issue, so he might not play. So the team is doing something to get people to show up tonight no matter what. Season ticket holders getting a $250 credit towards their package for next season, or single game ticket buyers get a $50 credit for another game on the schedule. So
Is that if
go
Messi,
no matter what.
If Messi does not show, they get the credit,
it doesn't
or they
matter.
already get the credit?
They just want you to go. So the credit's the credit. You get it whether he plays or not. They want to just make sure you guarantee your attendance tonight.
Okay. Did they even have to go that far? I feel like if you're like, hey, everyone who comes tonight gets a free hot dog and a beer, be like, all right. And maybe a T-shirt.
But I can imagine if you're in Chicago and you show up and there's no Messi, that must be a
He
disappointing
hasn't played
feeling.
in weeks, right?
Yeah, he played like half a game trying to fight through whatever he's dealing with, and then
They probably don't want to lose the concessions either. That's why they're doing that.
Right. And there's also a lot of bad feelings after the Justin Fields fiasco, that they blew that lead to the Broncos. So it's a tough time for Chicago sports fans.
And doing this probably is actually no true expense for them to give credits for things. Hot dogs and beer actually probably cost them
very little.
But so something.
Yeah.
This is nothing. This is just like, this is funny money. It's like, yeah, $250 less off $2,000 is nothing.
Right. It's an incentive to buy season tickets next year.
Yeah.
It's pretty smart.
Just get
I
Matt
think so,
Eberflus
too.
to be a vendor. That
It's like, is that Eberflus slinging hot dogs out of the soccer game?
Yeah.
You might be looking for work soon.
He should probably change venues, though. That's probably not a good spot for him.
It's like the only place in America where people might actually recognize him. No
Yeah, I
one
was gonna
else
say.
knows what this guy looks like.
I have trouble. When you say Matt Eberflus slinging hot dogs, his face just does not pop to my mind. I've seen many pictures of him. He's a sort of generic looking coach.
Honestly, he should like rob a bank or something. Like, what'd the guy look like? Like, I don't know. Just kind of medium height, medium build. Could be anybody.
He was one of the guys that the Kelsey brothers didn't know in that video last year when Travis was going through the coach's picture from the annual meetings, and he didn't know who Eberflus was. Because why would you?
Yeah, and he's going to be gone soon. Don't even bother getting to know him.
Don't memorize his face. It's
Yeah,
fine.
is there any other coach who's less recognizable than Matt Eberflus?
I mean, people probably don't know like Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen yet, do they?
I always have. I think you think he's kind of a fox, but Kevin Stefanski doesn't really jump to my mind too. The Cleveland Browns
Yeah,
coach.
kind of a fox. I mean, he's so generically good looking.
Stefanski is
no, he's a handsome guy.
Yeah,
he's not Matt LaFleur.
I think that's a type thing.
Stefanski
got a little more burliness. to
EJ,
him.
put up the poll.
Would you rather?
Matt LaFleur gets a lot of attention.
Not my thing.
Oh boy! All right, here we go. Let's get the ranking out there.
Mike McCarthy won.
Yeah. Listen, it's drop dead right there. He stops a room when you walk in. All heads turn.
Right.
It's actually unfair to include him. He has his own list.
Yeah.
And then everybody else
It's
comes
like
afterwards.
Garoppolo. It's like there's just so much room between him and the next guy.
Maggie's type is actually Brian Daboll.
Yeah? When he was the offensive coordinator for the Bills.
She
sure.
actually misses him so much as the
I know.
offensive coordinator.
That's my
that
guy.
she has romantic feelings for him.
Actually, I don't. If the Bills keep playing like this, I'll pretend I never heard of them.
Yeah. That says a lot about you. Now you're into Ken Dorsey. I saw a heart Ken Dorsey on your paper the other day.
He looks like a psychopath, and I think behaves like one, but I'm cool with it.
You're 2 weeks away from here from people driving Dable back to Buffalo, it feels like.
I'd be 1 week.
He's got no home there anymore. Although he's from there, so I guess he could go stay at like a friend's house or something. He's gonna crash it on a couch.
I got nothing, guys.
That's it.
I'm done.
Fantastic.
I close with soccer.
Are we going to hear a Phillies update every hour on the hour, I hope?
I mean, the Phillies will be mentioned. I will not promise sarcasm. I might do a couple straight Philly updates.
Were you actually rooting against them last night? I know you were.
Always.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like an all the time thing.
Right. Like, it just happened. It is a thing. Like, I don't have to, like, muster that or turn it on. It just exists.
Perloff thinks that like people outside of Philly like Philly sports. I'm like, this.
Oh, love it. Love it.
Yeah. Like this is it's a little delusional.
The funny thing is,
It's like people outside of Boston don't like Boston sports.
I feel like you hate the Phillies. Everyone in this room hates the Phillies, but you're more neutral towards the Eagles.
Eagles are fun. I do like watching the Eagles.
Yeah, there is something.
Ooh. No, see, I see the Phillies to me are more fun than the Eagles.
I
Like,
can't.
because
I'll never get over Chase Utley. I don't like Chase Utley. I even liked other guys on that team, like Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins. I do not like Utley. He's totally dirty player, and it will always be forever tainted for me.
There's just a fake hustle aspect about everything that is involved with the Phillies that makes me never want to root for them. I don't feel that with the Eagles. I feel like the Eagles are legit tough guys, legit guys you want to get a beer with. And I'm a Jets fan, so I have no Giants-Eagles beef, so I root for the Eagles.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts seems like a nice guy. The head coach is a little crazy, but he's okay. Nick Sirianni.
Wow, I would have taken Chase or Bryce Harper on my team in a heartbeat.
There you go, Bogus.
Yeah. It's hard to me. And baseball's my first love, and I love the Mets. I hate the Phillies with all of my being. And I do because they're the Phillies. But part of the hate is they've had guys that I wanted to be on my team that weren't.
Yep. Who's the team that you guys all hated growing up? For us, it was the Dallas Cowboys. And I assumed a lot of people in the country either love the Cowboys or hate the Cowboys.
Pats.
Pats, yeah.
My era,
they're hated.
Yeah.
No, I mean the Yankees.
5th grade, they won a first Super Bowl, so.
Yankees, yep.
Yeah, I mean I had Mariners and Cleveland Indians gear as to root against the Yankees because the Mets were terrible. So all I had to do was root against the Yankees winning World Series.
You know who I hated? Duke basketball.
Yeah, Duke.
The Bobby Hurley, Christian Laettner, Duke basketball. I'm sure they're nice guys. I could not stand them.
Laettner's not.
Well, you're talking about Grant Hill is like the nicest person in America. You can't hate Grant Hill. I was always not a big Notre Dame fan because everyone in my town loved Notre Dame. And Cowboys were blowing out my Bills in the Super Bowl. I've gotten over that. Patriots.
Yeah. Brave for me.
I also hate the Miami Dolphins. I hated them. Brian Cox came in and gave double birds to the Bills fans, and I was a child. I was like, this was the equivalent of someone just like burning down our house. I was like, how dare you? I've never been more offended in my life.
Bilotti had a good one, the Atlanta Braves, and that's a sign of respect because they are so good. They just won't go away.
They always win divisions. It's always the same type of system and same type of players that they bringing someone from outside that didn't do well in a location, and they all of a sudden excel as a Brave.
They got 40. How many 40 home run guys are on the team right now?
It's on, and they all signed. All signed
for
through like
$4.
40.
I know. Why are they giving these hometown discounts to the Braves when the guys half of them aren't even homegrown?
Another outside team for me is the Maple Leafs. Ty Domi Maple Leafs. Because they bothered the Islanders.
How can you hate the Maple Leafs? They are lovable losers.
No, but Ty Domi was like punching referees in the faces.
John Tavares too.
Yeah, but we were talking about the Patriots and Duke basketball. I think to really be hated, you have to win championships. That's why nobody hates the current Dallas Cowboys. Oh, that was a dig. Yeah, you heard me.
People do hate them though.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's a different hate. They're a non-threat. It's a different hate.
Jerry thinks that the NFC runs through the San Francisco 49ers. That's what Jones said. Bogish, thank you so much for that fantastic update. We'll see you next hour. Coming up,
himself.
We do have an answer to a question that has been plaguing one NFL team since the season started. We'll get to that in just moments. It's Maggie and Perloff right here on CBS Sports Radio. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff, new morning show here on CBS Sports Radio. Glad to have you along for the ride with us on our amazing CBS Sports Radio affiliates. If you want to watch the show, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, where Perloff, are you going to bring in, you've secured the chili for Friday's bet. You're paying it off. You're going to eat Skyline chili with no hands on Friday.
I guess so. I got the chili, 4 cans of chili. I don't know how much chili I need to put in there. It goes over spaghetti traditionally, and you put cheese. I mean, the cheese is where the danger comes in.
Yeah, the danger.
I got sharp cheddar. Sharp, Maggie.
Yeah. Something tells me you're going to be okay. You're not eating, broken glass.
I was thinking about something with the bet. So my hands have to go behind my back, right?
Yeah.
No hands. Am I going to have to wear handcuffs or something? Are my hands going to be tied?
Handcuffs? This is getting weird. I think the honor system, can you not just keep your hands behind your back?
I don't know. What if my hands just sort of instinctually fly to the chili?
Float to the, so you can start shoving it in with your bare hands.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was thinking this morning, I'm like, do we need handcuffs for this? You're right. That is really weird.
I don't know if we want handcuffs just hanging around the studio either.
Bad idea.
It's like, what the hell's going on in that morning show? It's like, oh, we're a morning show / SM show. S&M. Listen, we vowed to change things up here on CBS Sports Radio. We're shaking things up. They're never going to know what hit them.
Maggie and Perloff show, moving to the morning now with more S&M talk.
Now with more leather and handcuffs.
Poll question, should the handcuffs be furry or just plain metal?
Yeah, right. I kind of do like the poll question, should Perloff have to wear handcuffs? We could also maybe, you know how you can order like a stripper, like comes dressed as a cop.
Wait, what?
They come like dressed as a police officer. And
yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah. Put the handcuffs on the Bachelorette. I don't know. I've never done that, but I've heard.
Oh, yeah, right. You've been to a million bachelorette parties.
Yeah, but I've never been to ones. Mine wasn't like that, and I've never been to a bachelorette party. I've been to one that it was like at a drag show type of thing,
okay.
So that was kind of fun, but not where like ding dong, it's the delivery guy. Like I've never been to one of those.
Yeah, I mean, EJ, obviously, we know how you pay for college. Being one of those guys.
No, I haven't been to one either.
Oh no! I mean,
that's how I was getting through.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you clearly have the skills.
We all had to pay the bills some way.
Yeah. Oh no!
Yeah,
okay.
This body is definitely made for that kind of action.
Put it on.
What if you ordered a male stripper for a bachelorette party and I showed up at your door?
Like, no, really, where's the pizza?
Excuse me.
Like
Is
a
anyone
refund.
into the middle-aged professor look?
It's kind of like that great episode of The Office where Benjamin Franklin comes and they all think that he's a stripper, but it's really just a Ben Franklin impersonator. Solid episode of television. All right, Pittsburgh Steelers, they feel like they've maybe figured out, at least Mike Tomlin has, figured out what's the problem here. They get blown out by the Houston Texans, and clearly changes have to be made. So Tomlin says, no, they're not going to fire Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator. They are not going to be changing quarterbacks, even though Kenny Pickett has a knee injury, but I think it looks like it's trending that he could be playing. No, it's more padded practices. Yeah, that's what's missing here. The physicality from the Steelers' practices is what's going to finally right the ship here for Pittsburgh.
Now, he is aware that the offense did not get over the 50-yard line the entire first half against the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
He is aware that every play is practically a disaster. This is so obviously a play calling situation. Padded practices, Maggie?
I don't know how this is really going to change things. EJ, you said this sounds like an old Coach K move.
Yeah, this feels very college basketball. It's like, all right, guys, get on the baseline. You know, it's like a Coach Carter thing. It's like, what? Like, this is the NFL, okay? Yeah. It's not. These guys are trained professionals. They know how to tackle. It's not about physicality. It's about they're not executing what they need to do.
Let's hear from Mike Tomlin. Pete, how about cut 11? Asked by a reporter if the team has lost their commitment.
As you think about the lack of physicality, do you think there's something that played beyond just, hey, we didn't practice in pads this week? And are you concerned about your players' commitment to the process?
No.
Like, what gives you that confidence?
I work with them every day. It's my job to have a pulse of the group. And, you know, in the midst of that game, I'm standing on the sideline saying we're practicing in pads next Wednesday.
All right. Listen, Coach Tomlin knows more football than we ever will. He does have the pulse of his team. Maybe this changes. I just don't see how they're going to be able to really implement the offensive changes they need, Perloff, before this game against the Ravens. You think if Kenny Pickett is going to be hampered, or even if they go to Trubisky, they're going to have to rely more on the run game. Well, congratulations, you're facing the Ravens, who have a top 5 rushing defense. Like, nothing they can change, I don't think, matches up. I'm not saying they can't win the game, but there's not going to be like an obvious X's and O's change, I think, that they can make here.
You know, we were all into George Pickens, the second-year wide receiver. Turns out he has the lowest contested catch rate in the NFL. He's been a bit of a disappointment. Here's what's happening with the physicality, in my opinion. Actually, I heard Boomer Esiason talking about this on the CBS show on Sunday. Once the offense slows down, the defense eventually gets discouraged, and it's hard to fly around all game and keep your energy up when you see the offense going 3 and out, 3 and out,
You
3
get
and out.
tired, I think. You get worn
You
out,
get
right?
tired. I think it's more of an emotional drain. I think that the two units work together, and that defense can be awesome. And you think also of the great Tomlin teams. I understand where he won Super Bowls with guys like James Harrison. You know, he wants the heart. That's his style of football.
Yeah, but James Harrison would be in jail if he did half the stuff that he did back then.
Well,
today.
I think there is a real question. Is Mike Tomlin adjusted to the new game? Listen, the guys who are winning Super Bowls now are Sean McVay and Andy Reid with the Chiefs. It's more of an offensive game. Tomlin's going old school, kind of zagging when everyone's zigging or zigging when everyone's zagging. But Tomlin, his offense is not a modern offense. It's not, to me, it's not Kenny Pickett at all. I'm putting this 100% on Matt Canada. Kenny Pickett's not that bad, Maggie. I mean, he was good at the end of last year. Then he comes out this year, and they just can't get a first down.
He has a bone bruise, but he is going to be practicing this week. So again, trending towards playing, but I don't know if a hampered Kenny Pickett, you might not think it's his fault. I don't think he's played particularly well, but a less than 100% or a 75% Kenny Pickett, you're a sitting duck there for the Ravens. Even for a Ravens team that's battling all types of injuries, more of them in the secondary than like up front. But still, like, what are you asking from your quarterback here? I think it could end up getting worse here for the Steelers before it gets better. And then for the Steelers defense, you know you got TJ Watt. You know you have guys who can get to the quarterback. But on the back end of that defense, I mean, they lost one of their big corners this offseason. You're trying to fill in with Patrick Peterson, who's in his mid-30s. And listen, I know he was a longtime Buffalo Bill. Levi Wallace can be a bit of a liability in the secondary too. So I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. The last 3 times they faced the Ravens, I think it's 3. They have not seen Lamar because it's been Ty Huntley. Because they usually get them scheduled at the end of the season when Lamar has been hurt. So Lamar Jackson is going to be really interesting here because he's still getting used to the new offense. We disagree a little bit. I don't think the Ravens have really looked like they know what they're doing on offense yet. They've been a little.
They've had tons of injuries too.
Yeah, they've been a little spotty. I don't think we know the Ravens. I'm not sure that offense is going to explode against the Steelers because the Steelers do have a good defense. They probably know what Lamar Jackson's tricks are. So I don't think this game, even if Pickett can't move, I feel like the Steelers get up for a divisional opponent, a big rival, right?
Oh, definitely.
This is not going to. I understand where. So Tomlin's trying to get fired up and be like, listen, you better hit against the Ravens because if you come in with any less energy, that team's going to run all over you.
This also is a bit historic between the two coaches, Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh. This will be the 34th meeting between those two coaches. That's the second most in the history of the NFL. Only George Halas and Curly Lambeau met more times. Here is Mike Tomlin on what makes that Steelers-Ravens rivalry so great.
There's some things that are Baltimore, just like there's some things that are Pittsburgh, and I think that's one of the things that makes this rivalry what it is, and why the games always unfold in the manner in which they unfold, usually in terms of them being tough and competitive and close and entertaining. And so with all those things being said, man, we're working with an edge as we prepare today.
There you go.
Two pretty good coaches.
Two really good coaches, and ones that, you know, in this modern day, besides Belichick, who has 6 Super Bowls and, you know, got the keys to the kingdom in New England, you just don't see it very often where franchises are this patient. We know the Steelers are notoriously patient, but the Ravens have been too with Harbaugh. Nowadays, what's the average length of a head coach? Like 3 years?
If that. So we could get into this next hour, but eyeballing it.
Yeah.
If I say Mike Tomlin and I say John Harbaugh, Hall of Famer. Just your instant reaction. You know it when you see it.
Okay, my instant reaction is yes, but my instant reaction to Mike Holmgren is Hall of Famer and he's not in. My instant reaction to like Dan Reeves and George Seifert would have been yes, and those guys aren't in. So
Dan Reeves and George Seifert.
I'm just saying, like guys who have been Super Bowl winning head coaches, it's so hard in Canton to get these coaches in.
Mike Holmgren, though, he's sort of launched the career of 1,000 guys.
I know.
I would even think Mike Holmgren's mustache would be in the Hall of Fame.
It should be. It should have a wing.
I'll share these stats next hour, but Tomlin and Harbaugh are moving up quickly on the all-time win list. I think their resumes are going to be definite Hall of Fame.
Okay, here's the thing, though. They are both coaching in an era where I don't think either of them has ever been considered the best coach in the NFL.
So what? You can't. Multiple coaches are going to get in. Belichick's been there the whole time.
That's what I'm saying.
So that doesn't mean no coach from his era can be in the Hall of Fame.
It doesn't, but it's kind of funny when you're thinking, are they slam dunk Hall of Famers? Well, were they ever the greatest head coach at any certain time in the NFL? I don't know if I can say that.
It's the NFL Hall of Fame. It's not baseball. A lot of guys get in, Maggie.
So much more to get to, including around here on Wednesdays, we do a great debate series. We'll tell you what it is and got a hint. Has to do with one of the biggest stories in sports right now. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He thinks Frisbee golf is the sport of the future. She's sticking with football. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Good morning. It is Maggie and Perloff right here on CBS Sports Radio. Got a couple topics simmering right now, including Jerry Jones says that the NFC runs through the San Francisco 49ers. Perloff, as an Eagles fan, is taking exception to that.
No, as an NFL fan who uses logic, I'm taking exception with that.
I think the 49ers do look like the best team in the NFC right now. We have it up as a poll at Maggie and Pearl on the Twitter. EJ, what are the early results?
Results are very interesting here. So, question, of course, who does an NFC run through? 25% say the Eagles. 72% say the 49ers, which leaves just 2% for the Dallas Cowboys.
For America's team?
Yes, America's team only represented by 2% in this poll.
I'm happy with these results. I'll take 70% on the Niners as long as people aren't going Dallas.
You guys are going to learn this about Andrew Perloff. Every time we will put a show poll up at Maggie and Pearl, the official show Twitter handle, Perloff, if he doesn't like or doesn't think the results will go in his favor, will put up his own poll on his own social media handles just so his curated audience will vote the way that you want them to vote.
I'll get a lot more Philly votes on my poll for sure. Yeah, I'll put up the same poll. By the way, I put up a poll too.
What'd you put up?
I put up my own poll. Do you think Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh, who meet for the 35th time this weekend?
34th, I thought.
34th time?
Yeah.
34.
Do you think they are both Hall of Famers? 88% said yes.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty decided.
Okay, but here's the thing. These guys aren't going to get in until they're like 80. When did Jimmy Johnson finally got in? I believe he was like literally 80 years old. It is so hard because I think only one coach gets in a year. Like Holmgren's not in. Don Coryell just got in, and he passed away several years ago. Like, it's difficult. Mike Shanahan's not in. Mike Holmgren's not in. Again, like, so Dan Reeves, you might not think he has a great case, but I think Dan Reeves has a pretty good case.
Well, part of the reason is guys coach until they're pretty old, and then you're supposed to wait 5 years until they're done.
That's true.
So I think that's why most of them are old. Obviously, Belichick's a no-brainer. Andy Reid's a no-brainer. Honestly, who after that? I think Tomlin's coming in third. He's moving up fast on the all-time win list.
Yeah.
Has a Super Bowl, has 2 Super Bowl appearances. So and he started really young. I don't know that he's going to coach to 70. He was 35 when he took over the Steelers.
And both he and Harbaugh have like over 60% winning percentage. Yeah. And considering how long they've both coached, like that's pretty remarkable.
We have to double check this. The name that you told me earlier that shocked me, Mike Shanahan is not in the Hall of Fame?
He is not in the Hall of Fame.
See, the thing with Mike Holmgren and Mike Shanahan is they launched 1,000 careers. They Shanahan, along with Gary Kubiak, invented an offense. And, basically Holmgren perfected Bill Walsh's West Coast. If you create a system or perfect a system, I think you have to go in.
Well, I mean, that would bode well for these guys because Bill Walsh obviously was going to get in, and Bill Parcells, who has a big coaching tree, he also got in. But they're also multiple Super Bowl winners. I think it's hard for one-time Super Bowl winners to get in.
Dick Vermeil, I believe, did get in, former Eagles coach. Actually, he won with the Rams and got there with the Eagles. But the thing about him is he's so beloved as well. If everybody loves you, does that help?
Do you think that matters?
I do.
It matters for the players. Like, they kept T.O. out for a while,
Like, Dick Vermeil is such an infectious personality. Maybe this is the Philly in me speaking. I do think that helped. That being said, I think everyone kind of likes Tomlin and everyone kind of likes Harbaugh. I think Tomlin's in first. He's got more wins.
I think people like both of them. I mean, they respect him. I don't think the coaches have to be liked.
Yeah, the other thing about John is a little bit in Jim's shadow. Does that make an impact there? John is definitely the less famous Harbaugh.
Less famous, but Jim doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. He's got a Super Bowl appearance against his brother.
Yeah.
I think one of the things also about these guys that's interesting is I think when you think about John Harbaugh, you don't really, when you think about the Ravens, I don't know if you think about John Harbaugh. I think you think about Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
I feel like with the Steelers, I think you do think of Mike Tomlin. Maybe Ben Roethlisberger's one, but Tomlin's like right there. Like I think with the Harbaugh era Ravens, you often don't really think about him until you kind of go back. Oh, by the way, John Harbaugh's actually doing a really good job coaching his team.
Yeah,
but we think about the stars that they've had.
And he's been there for a decade plus. The fact that Bill Cowher got in as a Steelers head coach with just one Super Bowl, that probably bodes well.
That bodes well. One thing about Harbaugh was a special teams coach, is not really an offensive or a defensive innovator. Does that count against him? I mean, Tomlin was a defensive backs coach, a wide receiver in college. He's not really an X's and O's. As far as he might be. But when I think X's and O's, who jumps to mind? To me, it's Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. Those are the great play callers.
Well, and Andy Reid.
Yeah. But, I mean, the young guy. But I don't even think of Andy Reid like that. I think McVay is an innovator. Shanahan's an innovator.
Well, Belichick's an innovator.
Is he?
Well, he's a cheater.
He's not really a play caller guy.
No, not. But
calls the defense.
I don't know. I guess I think of Belichick always having an edge. It feels like he was so buried in scheme and changing things up. Like when he went to the 2 tight ends with Hernandez and Gronkowski. I mean, I know he wasn't the first to do that, but Aaron Hernandez coming out of the backfield, in a playoff run. Like that stuff was pretty innovative.
And even early in his career, he's the one who unleashed LT on the league in a sense.
Something tells me LT would have found a way to the quarterback, whether Belichick was there or not. That's just me. I'm looking at a list here of ProFootball.com Hall of Famers, and I don't see Dick Vermeil.
He just got in.
Did he just get
2022.
in?
He just got in.
Well, come on, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Update your website.
The Mike Shanahan thing is very interesting. 2 rings. I feel like his time in Washington may have hurt him.
Oh, did it? You think?
I feel like it.
But if you coach under, what are you supposed to do under Dan Snyder? That was his fault.
I know, but I feel like that's the why isn't he there? I mean, he has 2 rings.
He should be.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Gibbs is in. And he came back to was he already in when he came back to Washington?
Yes.
Yeah. That's another, and he was an innovator too because he thought of putting in 2 tight ends to counter LT. So, I think those guys are no-brainers. As soon as Tomlin retires, he gets in.
Maybe coaches, it should be a little bit like the Basketball Hall of Fame. I know that's kind of like everyone feels like they get in, but you get in while you're coaching. Right now, John Calipari is a Hall of Fame coach, and he's probably going to coach for 20 more years.
2 more names, your reaction.
Okay.
Sean Payton.
See, Sean Payton's openly campaigning for it, by the way.
He's in. He brought a Super Bowl to New Orleans. He basically raised that team after Katrina and won one of the most significant Super Bowls of this millennium, for sure.
Yeah, but how many 8-8 seasons did he have, too? It's not like...
He had 3 in a row because all the money went to Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Then he got really good again. We'll see what happens in Denver. Could Denver ruin his Hall of Fame chances?
Well, like Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
That was a big storyline last year, like how Russ is torpedoing his own Hall of Fame candidacy because of what's going on in Denver.
Absolutely. A very unlikely one, though. If Mike McCarthy wins big time in Dallas, that'll be say he wins a Super Bowl there, I think that makes him a Hall of Famer, too.
He'll get in.
But
Packers and Cowboys, you're definitely getting
and winning records many years with Green Bay. That's big.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just nominate Nick Sirianni. Is that too early?
Well, a little early.
Tad.
855-2124-CBS. Are Tomlin and Harbaugh slam dunk Hall of Famers? They're going to meet for the 34th time this Sunday. All right, it is Wednesday, so around here we do the Great Debate Series.
The Great Debate Series.
All right, Perloff, this is your baby. You want to announce it to America and Canada?
Obviously, if you follow the NFL or if you follow pop culture, you know about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce sort of taking over the NFL to the chagrin of many people, by the way. I think
it's getting old fast, by the way.
It's getting polarizing.
Getting real old.
I did see Jets owner Woody Johnson arm in arm with Travis on Instagram yesterday. Anyway, what is the number one power couple of all time in sports?
Like one athlete, one non-athlete.
Well, no, it could be 2 athletes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The rules are one of the people has to be an athlete, and I think they have to be married. So they can't just be dating.
Can't just be dating.
Can't be a fling.
Okay.
So what is the number one all-time sports power couple?
Okay.
Do you want me to go first?
Well, here's the thing, though. I think we're changing the criteria a little bit. I thought it had to be athlete and then something else, either actor, actress, singer, model, something like that. If it could be 2 athletes, that might change my submission.
Okay. All right, then let's make it. Well, who are the 2 athletes? What are you talking about?
Agassi and Steffi Graf.
Oh, come on.
I think you're going to go with Sue Bird and
Sue Bird
or Megan Rapinoe.
Right?
I was going to say that.
What?
Yeah. Okay.
Agassi
and Graf. Yeah. That's like this is amazing. How many grand slams between the 2 of them?
That's not even the most famous couple of tennis people.
Okay, well let's do athlete and non-athlete.
Okay,
like
athlete,
Kelsey
non-athlete.
and Travis.
Okay, number one power couple, athlete, non-athlete. Who wants to go first?
You do.
Okay. I think this is obvious. And it's old school. But when you think who is the most famous athlete / actress of all time, it's definitely Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe. They've been portrayed in movies countless times. Marilyn Monroe is the only person from old school who can challenge Taylor Swift in popularity. And Joe DiMaggio, Joltin' Joe, is an American icon. The fact that they were together, to me, was like the original. It's old school, and no one has ever topped it.
Okay, that's a good one. A little old school, though. I'm going to go with one that's just sitting right there, so I got to take it. It's Brady and Giselle. I mean, you've got 2 continents here, with him in North America and her in South America being from Brazil. They're so worldwide because her face is in ad campaigns from Seattle to Singapore. Like, she is such a well-known face, and Tom Brady, through the 6 Super Bowls, he's probably the most famous athlete we have right now. Maybe him and LeBron as far as exports. Like, the 2 of them together.
Tom Brady?
And she was there through all the Super Bowls, I guess the second 4.
Okay. I mean, if you're talking about exports, Tiger Woods is much bigger than in the world.
Yeah, but his wife isn't famous. Mistress might be. I mean,
let's not go there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one.
Brady and Giselle is obvious. Anyone else want to top it?
Okay, so I'll try to top it here. And, you guys have said sometimes I'm a sucker for love. Those are two couples that are very famous, but neither of them lasted. So I want everlasting love. So I'm going with Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade.
It's a good one.
They're still married, still together.
Don't jinx that couple. We love that couple.
I'm not jinxing them. They're doing great. They're doing fine. They're doing all.
They're
their
in 9 commercials together.
Yeah, they're doing fabulous stuff. Gabrielle Union, of course, in a cult classic of Bring It On. Dwayne Wade, all NBA Hall of Famer, multiple-time NBA champion. I don't know how you can top that.
By the way, I'm surprised you're a Knicks fan. You didn't go with Carmelo and Lala.
Again, everlasting love. That would have absolutely been number one, but they're separated, and
like Brady and Giselle just got separated. I want to point that out.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. That's why I couldn't go with either DiMaggio or Monroe or Brady and Giselle.
Taking points off for divorce.
Yeah,
have you seen the rates in this country? It's a miracle anyone stays married. Anyone else? Bogish? Bilotti?
I was going to suggest Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, so that comes off the board for me. And apparently, Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan doesn't qualify.
That's a good one.
Okay, but I'm going to add, this is off the board. This is just it's fresh in my head. Over the weekend, I watched one of my favorite, what I think is underrated movies, The Girl Next Door, starring Alicia Cuthbert. Had to double check. As far as I know, still married to Dion Phaneuf, longtime hockey player.
Yep.
So I'll give them at least for longevity and good hockey player. At one time, she was a pretty significant actress, 24 and stuff like that. So we'll count. That'll go on the list.
If you're going to go hockey, then you got to go with the great one.
Yeah.
No, or Paulina and Dustin. Those two.
Yeah, okay.
I also think, was it Carol Alt was married to
Alexei Yashin?
Alexei Yashin.
That's pretty old school.
I also love a little Ron Duguay, Kim Alexis. Let's go hockey. Let's talk about hockey relationships all day.
Can we go with Aaron Andrews and
Jared Stahl.
Jared Stahl. Yeah, hockey players do well. But Alyssa Cuthbert, we're talking Marilyn Monroe and Taylor Swift here.
She's on the list. That's all.
Maybe your list.
Top 15.
She did have a memorable 5 minutes in the movie Old School.
She's like the Kirk Cousins of this.
Well, you said movie. For some reason, I thought you were going, there's something about Mary and Brett Favre and Mary. I thought you were going to go with.
No.
Because that was a great couple. I did not know where you were going with the movie. Okay.
I have two. Justin Verlander and Kate Upton.
Okay. It's a good one.
And this one is...
However, I would say mine tops that because I think Giselle is way more famous than Kate Upton
100%.
worldwide.
Yes.
She's more famous than Brady, isn't she not?
She made more money than him, I think.
Yes, but I got to tell you, amongst my guy friends, Kate Upton is much more popular than
Well,
Giselle.
we're not power ranking them, guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
tomorrow,
if we put up for my curated audience, if I put up a poll, Kate Upton or Giselle, that is a runaway. Kate Upton.
Agree with that.
Who's your second one?
The second one's out of the box. It might not be sports
Wrestling.
related. Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth.
Sad ending, right?
Yeah, but they were the couple.
No.
They were married in real life. They were.
Yeah.
But they were famous because they were a couple. I think you need to take two individually famous people and put them together.
Okay.
But that is a good one. I watched a whole documentary on that couple.
Oh.
They had some good times and some bad times.
Yeah, definitely. Also receiving votes, Russell Wilson and Ciara.
That's a good one.
Very good. And then Enrique Iglesias and Anna Kournikova.
Still together, too.
How about that?
Yeah.
No way.
100%.
Wow.
That's the real thing.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. 855-2124-CBS, 855-212-4227. I still think I have the best one.
Andy Roddick, Brooklyn Decker, thinking of now
Another good
tennis
one.
relationships.
Pete Sampras married to Bridget Wilson.
Yeah.
I like the ones that
Andre
are...
Agassi and Brooke Shields.
Isn't Caroline...
Now we're just naming stuff.
Yeah.
Caroline Wozniacki's married to an athlete.
David Lee.
David Lee. They're going to have athletic kids.
All these people probably will.
Cool.
I still think Brady and Giselle's number one, though. You think Joe DiMaggio?
Joe DiMaggio, Marilyn Monroe. I think the Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union one is strong, too.
Very good.
And we should, if we're going to put a poll out, we should just put Randy Savage because everybody loves the Macho Man.
Again, best power couple of all time, at one athlete, one non-athlete. Let us know, 855-2124-CBS. You can also hit us up on the tweets. That would be Maggie and Pearl on Twitter.
Yeah, or at Andrew Perloff, at Maggie Gray.
So many ways to get in touch with the show. It's just like the Deion Sanders shirt that he wears. It's like, I'm not hard to find. That should also be the motto of this show.
We're a lot like Deion.
Yeah, basically.
Coach Prime.
You know, it's we're just missing a cowboy hat and a pair of shades, or else we'd basically be Deion.
Yeah, that's our motto. Do you believe?
855-212-4CBS. A lot more to do here, including we get the latest headlines with Bogish in just a moment. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff in just minutes.
This show is sponsored in part by BetterHelp. Do you ever feel like your brain is getting in its own way? Like you know what you should do, what's good for you, but you just can't do it? Therapy helps you figure out what's holding you back so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself. Sometimes it's a matter of talking things out so you get a better understanding of what may be standing in your way, even if that's you.
And you know, we all been through some unpredictable times over the past few years. It's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/MNP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MNP.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Hey, it's Maggie and Perloff, the new morning show here on The Ticket.
And start again. Sorry.
Hey, it's Maggie and Perloff, the new morning show here on The Ticket.
And we couldn't be more excited to be a part of Boise Sports Radio.
So when you're headed to work in the morning, we hope that you'll check us out.
And join our friends Prater and Ball Game for Idaho Sports Talk afternoons at 3.
Right here on Sports Radio, The Ticket. Sorry, The Ball Game. I don't know if that matters.
There's a pronunciation here that says Boise.
That's how you pronounce Boise.
It's not Boise?
It's Boise.
So should I say Boise?
I would say Boise.
Okay. Can we do it again? Sorry. Or I'll do my lines again.
That's fine. We can do it again. Ready? Hey, it's Maggie and Perloff, the new morning show here on The Ticket.
And we couldn't be more excited to be a part of Boise Sports Radio.
So when you're headed to work in the morning, we hope that you'll check us out.
And join our friends Prater and the Ball Game for Idaho Sports Talk afternoons at 3.
Right here on Sports Radio, The Ticket. It's Maggie and Perloff, your new sports morning show in Boise.
That's a different. Okay. What's a C?
Okay.
Yeah. Boise.
Boise.
Okay. Do it again. Sorry.
It's Maggie and Perloff, your new sports morning show in Boise.
I'm glad you said Boise, Maggie, because that's how us natives say it.
You're not from Boise.
No, but I've watched enough games on the blue turf that I feel like I am.
Fair enough. Catch us mornings right here on The Ticket.
There you go. Ready? Hey, it's Maggie and Perloff. Catch us weekday mornings here on Sports Radio, The Ticket.
And be sure to download the KTIK app to listen to Prater and the Ball Game.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Heated debate here.
Yep.
Who is the greatest sports power couple of all time? Couple ground rules. I think we've settled on it has to be one athlete and one non-athlete.
Yep.
Actor, model, whatever. I went with DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe.
I went with Brady and Giselle. It's right there. EJ?
Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade.
And Pete, did you finally
Yeah.
settle on one?
I'll do the Randy Savage and Liz.
Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. So that's the great debate for this Wednesday here on the Maggie and Perloff Show. We want to hear from you, 855-212-4CBS. Do I have to even say this is inspired by Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift? Felt like that was kind of obvious. Jay is our pal in Nashville. Hey, Jay, how are you?
Hey, I can't believe we're still thinking this Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift thing is real.
It's not
man.
real.
Like, come on.
It's not real.
No, Jay, we're with you. We're totally with you.
It's a work. We're all marks. We get it. We want to talk about real love, though, and that's why we're talking about the best power couples of all time.
Well, as far as sports, I mean, that's a tough one right there. I would have to say, like, Magic Johnson and his wife, because, I mean, look, she stuck with him through you know what. You know what I mean? That's a hard, you know what I mean?
I know, but Cookie's not famous. I mean, she's famous only for being Magic's wife, unless she's doing other charity work and stuff that I'm not aware of. But we're talking about, like, Enrique Iglesias and Anna Kournikova style.
Well, what about J-Lo and A-Rod?
I know. Very good.
That's a good one.
They never got married, though.
Wasn't Scarlett Johansson and the captain dating at one time?
Oh, Jeter. Listen, we could just do a whole Jeter category if we wanted to. That we were saying.
Oh yeah, Jeter got a catalog for you. I mean, he's got like
Mariah Carey.
Whole,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, Jeter got a whole college football team and got a whole bunch of them on scholarship, but like sitting on the bench, you know what I mean? But he got some starters and everything. But I mean, a couple. I think, like, as far as famous couples, the only ones that I see, they're not athletes, but Mr. Footloose himself and Kara Sedgwick, whatever her name, the lady that played in The Closer.
Yeah, Kevin
Bacon.
Bacon.
Got a daughter in the game. Yeah, I think they got Kevin Bacon and his wife. They got a daughter in the game now, and they're
Jay,
like a regular couple.
I love how you're going deep cuts here with Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick. Jay, you're the best. Thanks for calling in. But we did lay some ground rules: athlete, non-athlete, and had to be married. I don't think J-Lo and A-Rod ever made it to the altar.
Doing some research here on people.com. The couple planned to get married during the summer of 2020, but they pushed back their wedding date twice due to COVID before calling the whole thing off.
Man.
Then she edited him out of her most recent documentary.
Yes, I watched it.
He was kind of walking around. There was a couple scenes where he was walking around in the background, and they never mentioned that they were together.
And now she's married to Ben Affleck. Okay, Larry is in Indiana. Larry, you got a great one here. I'm embarrassed we missed this one.
You should be. But, hey, I love the show, you guys. I followed Perloff from the DP show. Listen to you guys in the afternoon. You had me at the peanut butter. But David Beckham and Posh Spice, of course, internationally, huge.
I know. How did it slip? Larry, thank you so much and appreciate you coming over to Mornings with us. He's talking about peanut butter for the new audience. Perloff, in probably one of your finest athletic feats, ate not only one whole jar of peanut butter in a half an hour, which was the bet, but you were feeling it so much, you actually went to a second jar. You went totally off the rails.
Yeah, I greatly regretted that second jar. It's one of my great regrets about the show. One of my only regrets about the show.
That's true.
I was running through the stop sign like Harper last night.
No, you're absolutely right. I flew too close to the sun.
Yeah.
The glory was sitting there for me, and I went for it, and that was a long night.
And I don't think you ate peanut butter for like 3 months.
No, I love peanut butter too. I really don't eat it that much anymore. It kind of grosses me out.
I can see why. We should have come up with the Beckhams, though. Bad job at us. Here's John. He's in North Carolina. Good morning, John.
Good morning. Welcome to the work week.
Thank you.
Justin Verlander and Kate Upton.
Yeah, that was one of Bellatti's. He loved that. See, John, I think you're spot on. However, if we're going athlete and model, I think that Brady and Giselle wiped the floor with him. Because Giselle has been in the game for like 20 years doing this, and she's like a high fashion model, where Kate Upton's more of a swimsuit model. We're really getting into the weeds here.
By the way,
Giselle's the faces everywhere in the world.
Is this about that, or is it about the fact that Justin Verlander and the Mets didn't work out?
Well, I'm not happy about that either. I'm not going to lie. The fact that Verlander's going to be pitching for the Astros again whenever, whoever they're going to meet in the ALDS.
So here's a good one. Did Kate Upton date another athlete? I was looking it up. Apparently she was with Blake Griffin for a while. That's a power couple.
Yeah, but if they didn't get married, then they don't count on our list.
Yeah, you're right. They did not get married, but she's ridiculously tall, and so is he. I like these people, the idea of these gigantic athletes getting together and forming super kids.
Yeah, I know. Well, Perloff is a Khloe Kardashian person for people who don't know.
Yeah, that's a
But
tough choice.
Good morning, Bogues.
How are you guys?
That is not exactly what happened.
I heard that clip. And
Well,
thought,
I'm not a Kim. I'm not
going to stick around in the mornings.
As a person, I like Khloe much more than I like Kim.
Yeah, she does have the best personality. She was the funniest.
And right now, the new look Khloe she's attractive. I actually like the old Khloe. I find her more attractive. She's taller.
It's a little sad, like how much she's changed her appearance. You know.
Yeah, I'm not.
Listen, do you? No judgment.
I'll be honest. I'm
Little
not
judgment.
a huge Kim Kardashian fan. I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'4". You can't hear that on the radio. So I think Kim's too short for me. I would be more into Khloe. I'll go there.
Yeah, you're a Khloe person.
Bogus, you have a
she
problem
is a
with
good
that?
one. She got married to Lamar Odom.
I just think the non-Kim choice is Courtney, not Khloe. That's all.
I didn't know Courtney was available.
I never
And if you're
know.
gonna-
Are them available?
By the way,
married to Travis Barker.
What about the Jenners and the Devin Bookers and the Ben Simmons and all the
What about Chris
Tristan
Humphries and
Thompsons
Kim
and Chris
Kardashian?
Humphries?
James Harden.
Who's
yeah.
James Harden with Khloe.
Oh, yeah, he was.
You forget that.
Forgot about that
I
one.
missed
But
that one.
the marriage part.
Yeah, it wouldn't count. Didn't get married.
Right, that's true.
You have to have sealed the deal in order to count for our power couples.
Yeah. By the way, my daughter thought that Taylor Swift was with Travis Scott the other day. She didn't know
Easy
who Travis
mistake.
Kelce was. She's like, she's with Travis, but is Travis married to? Or they just have kids together?
They have kids together, my understanding.
Oh, they never got married?
Never got married.
Kendall or no?
That's Kylie.
Kylie. Okay, sorry.
We'll get it straight one of these days. Lee is in San Diego. Hey, Lee, how are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. This is so funny to me because I don't think one of these millionaires marrying millionaires has worked out. Is there? Can you name me one couple
Still together?
still together?
Okay, we got a couple, Lee, because EJ is thank you for the call. EJ is a sucker for love. You said Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union.
Yeah, that was one of the main reasons why they're my number one pick, because they are still together after many years.
The Beckhams are still together.
Yes.
And Gretzky's still with Janet Jones, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Still married.
Andy Roddick and Brooklyn Decker, like I said, still together.
How about a little Kerry Washington, Nnamdi Asomugha? They're still together.
right.
Who says love doesn't exist? Before we get to the headlines quickly, JT is in Eugene, has got one we missed. JT, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Best shape of my life. What do you got?
Oh, great. Yeah, one that you forgot. I don't know if it still counts, but Lance Armstrong and Sheryl Crow. That was a big one, right?
Huge.
Huge.
Did they get married?
I cannot remember, and I honestly don't know if they're still together. But
Don't think they
they're
are.
Still big. Yeah.
Definitely not. But with that dude, can you trust that it was real?
And there's nothing. Everything with Lance is subject to question.
Ooh.
JT, thank you for the phone call.
Turns out they were married, I'm hearing in my ear.
Okay.
That was a big couple at the time. Sheryl Crow was really popular. Lance Armstrong was huge.
I mean, everyone's wearing the bracelets.
You know, I saw a documentary
I
on
saw a
him.
guy wearing a Livestrong hoodie the other day, and I was like, that's still a thing?
That brand, I mean, took a major hit.
Yeah.
Those were cool hoodies, though. Was that a Nike Livestrong?
Yeah, it was a Nike Livestrong.
It's Livestrong, not Livestrong.
Yeah. I butchered that. But yeah, it was a Nike Livestrong. It was black with like black lettering, gold, like kind of like outlining. It looked awesome. But I was just like, wow, I did not know that was still a brand they were pushing.
That sounds really ironic cool to wear a Livestrong now.
Yeah, now it'd be like wearing a Barry Bonds shirt or something. It's like powered by, is Balco sending making merch. Bogus is here with some headlines. Good morning.
Good morning again. Before we leave this topic, I've got to ask, because like EJ, I do love, and I want to believe that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift is real. I understand why it wouldn't be real from his perspective and from the NFL's perspective, but what does she get out of faking a Travis Kelce relationship? What's the bonus for
New
her
audience.
here?
She's got an album release and a movie
But
release.
do you think that football bros are going to go start downloading Taylor Swift albums right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
I think so. I mean, I think a lot already have. She's widely popular.
Well, that's also my point. Like she's already been on the radar. All training camp were teams doing Taylor Swift bits on their social media accounts before Travis Kelce was a thing. So I don't get. She doesn't need Travis Kelce.
Okay,
at all.
I think agree. I think that she wants the marketing of the NFL, right? They're showing her commercials, a promotion for her movie in every commercial break. I think they want like, hey, I want to go to the movies to watch this. And instead of being a girls' night or something like that, I'm going to drag my husband with me or my boyfriend to come with me to see this movie.
But he's got to go, though. He still has to go. He's like, you might.
Yes, the husband has to get his ass off the couch and actually go to the movie theater, right?
Yeah, I get why he would want to do this. I don't think she needs to sign up for this kind of publicity stuff.
But what does he need it for?
Popularity.
But he already has 1 million ads. I mean, before her.
Yeah, but he's the one getting a whole new audience intro now.
Yeah, he got like thousands more social media.
I know, but he already got SNL. Honestly, I don't know this as a fact, but I think he genuinely wants to hook up with Taylor Swift. And I think a lot of guys do, not just because he's attracted to her. Like, the fame is alluring. I think there's something about her, like, that's the ultimate sort of, this shallow, but notch on your belt is to hook up with Taylor Swift.
Also, it sets you up, like, now, when they eventually do break up, now every woman who's a Swiftie is going to want a piece of Travis Kelce to be like, he was with her.
Yeah, I think that's a terrible idea. Like, if you're going to, like, Taylor Swift is notorious for getting with these men and then just dragging them in her songs.
Yeah.
And then they become public enemy number one. Like, if that is his goal, I think that is crazy.
You guys love wrestling over there.
Yes.
EJ, Pete, I don't know about you, Bogish.
No,
but
thank you. I'm an adult.
You don't think that a heel turn is in the works for Travis Kelce? Like, he could easily go heel turn, and he's pretty charismatic. He could get everybody back on his side.
No way. Travis Kelce's not going to heel
He's seen nothing like the wrath of Swifties. That should scare any person.
Bogus,
this guy goes over the middle and gets hit by NFL safeties. He's not scared of the Swifties.
I didn't say that now.
Different kind of fear. I think he's in it just for the song. Which
By the way, there's a lot of Swifties in Philadelphia. DeAndre Swifties. Hello, dad joke time.
Okay,
go ahead,
thanks,
Bogus.
guys.
Sitting on that one.
So
Save us, Bogues.
So they're doing this. The theme of the Lakers season will apparently be righting the wrongs the Nuggets did to them after the Western Conference final last spring. We heard Anthony Davis yesterday. Now it's sweet little Austin Reeves.
I think everybody knows it was pointed at us. They can do it indirectly. If they want, but I think it was very obvious to the public eye. That's why everybody was talking about it.
At least 3 other teams lost the Nuggets in the postseason last year, but Denver did seem to take extra glee in sending the Lakers home. So this is a storyline again that's just not going to go away. And again, we're expecting James Harden to show up to Sixers camp in Colorado today. If he didn't get there last night, it remains to be seen if the pouty former superstar actually takes the court. Still angling for that trade. You'll be shocked to hear that Aaron Rodgers' Achilles recovery is ahead of the usual protocols. Rodgers again told the Pat McAfee show he wants to play this season, but the Jets playing long enough for that to happen remains the issue. Last night in Milwaukee, the Diamondbacks let the Brewers score the first 3 runs of their wildcard opener, then went deep 3 times, producing 4 runs to take the lead. Then Evan Longoria protected that lead.
3-2. Swing, base hit, no! Line drive caught by Longoria. That's a double play. He'll throw to second. I don't believe it. Oh, the veteran with a Gold Glove effort in a dire situation.
As heard on Brewers radio, one of the 3 times Milwaukee had the bases loaded last night, never got the big hit, partly because of defense. The Diamondbacks won 6-3 to begin that best of 3.
Did anyone else think, oh man, I didn't know Evan Longoria had a kid in Major League Baseball?
I'm so used to seeing all the kids of people who we grow up with. And yeah, Evan Longoria, how about that?
I mean, he was the nemesis when the Phillies last won the World Series in 2008.
Well, he barely made the roster, and it was Terry Lavulo. I never pronounce his name right. Anyway,
it's his fault. It's Lavello, but there's a U in there that you don't pronounce and it throws you off.
Multiple L's.
Yeah.
Anyway, hell of a manager, but and was a great player. But he had to appeal. Like, it was his decision to put Longoria on the postseason roster. That wasn't even a gimme.
Oh, by the way, we forgot Eva Longoria and Tony Parker.
Oh, and that's an epic breakup, too.
And it ended in complete disaster.
Yeah, I think that adds to where it goes on the ranking.
Wait, does Brett Barry also get it? Like, do you put him in parentheses?
That's terrible.
Well, that's tomorrow's topic. The best dramatic breakup and gossip.
Or we could do the best power triangle, and we could get the Derek Fisher.
Matt Barnes.
Yeah, there could be a lot of NBA drama going on there.
Wait, it could go 4 ways. Who are there was the 2 couples in New York a long time ago in the 70s that just like switch marriages,
right. There was a movie.
Fritz,
that's right.
This is gonna kill me. Oh, we'll come up with it. But two teammates married a different woman. They just swapped wives.
Yes. Oh, I love this.
That was such
nothing
such
like
70s
a
story.
good love triangle.
Jason Kidd and the Dallas Mavericks basically broke up over Tony Braxton.
Yep. And Jim Jackson, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't he involved
Jim
in
Jackson,
that?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's gonna rock.
Were any of them married to Tony Braxton?
No.
I think
okay?
Wait, Jim Jackson and Tony Braxton were never married, or one of them? I think. Okay.
We'll do a little
I'm
research.
pretty sure they all weren't. Nobody was married at that time. So the story was that Jason Kidd had asked Tony Braxton on a date. And then when she showed up to the hotel, she may have went on a date with Jim Jackson instead of Jason Kidd. And that essentially then made Jason Kidd want to leave Dallas. It broke up a young team that was actually really good.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around, but okay. What about, by the way, if you really want to get juicy, how about Delonte West and LeBron's mom?
Unsubstantiated.
Wait,
Never confirmed.
And also, what's the other one? Obviously, the Pippen Jordan thing is.
Well, now that's a little crazy.
That's confirmed.
This was Fritz Peterson and Mike Kekich from the Yankees in the 70s just switch wives. They announced in spring training. They had to do like an announcement. I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Did the women like put jerseys on or put like that, do that the hats on the table?
Bring the wives out?
Did Affleck and Damon try to do a movie about that? Or did they do a movie about that wife swap?
I don't know. But if anyone could pull it off, it's those guys. I don't know.
More baseball.
Yes.
There was no defense in Tampa Bay yesterday. 4 Rays errors, helping the Rangers win 4-0. The Twins snapped their 19-game postseason losing streak, 3-1 over the Blue Jays, and the Phillies fought off the Marlins somehow, 4-1. Zach Wheeler K'd 8 over 6 2/3. Another quadruple header today, starting with Game 2 at the Trop at 2 Central. The Mariners not involved in any of this again. They were 13 games over 500 in the wildcard chase until last weekend, but they've only made the playoffs once in the last 2 decades. Apparently, that's right where GM Jerry Dipoto wants to be.
If what you're doing is focusing year to year on what do we have to do to win the World Series this year, you might be one of the teams that's laying in the mud and can't get up for another decade. So we're actually doing the fan base a favor in asking for their patience to win the World Series while we continue to build a sustainably good roster.
Yeah, so the overall point was they have a 10-year plan over which they want to win 54% of their games because that long-term success breeds titles. But again, the Mariners as a franchise have never even been in the World Series, let alone won one. And that breakdown from Dipoto was a response to Cal Raleigh, their catcher, who said they need to do more to try and win a World Series in terms of building a roster, which seems like a valid point based on Seattle's history.
Well, if I'm Jerry Dipoto, this is an all-time move because I'm telling you, you got a 10-year window, which means I've got 10 years in the job. I mean, who can actually get away with that?
Well, and the goal to go, we're doing you a favor by striving for just north of mediocrity.
Also, meanwhile, you just had the longest drought in North American team sports of not making the playoffs. I don't think it's time to go making victory laps and big proclamations here.
Yeah, and at least be in the wild card round when you say that. You can't miss out on 6 playoff spots in your league and then go, we're in the right course.
Guys, we got them right where we want them.
You know what's funny, though? I always think of the Mariners as sort of a glamour team because they had Griffey, A-Rod, and Ichiro. They had the stars. Does that count for anything?
It counts for something, but
Perloff, that was 25 years ago.
I know. I when I first moved to New York, that's the one team I wanted to go see because Griffey was my favorite player. Still is my favorite player.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. Anyway.
Yeah. Last thing, Steelers QB Kenny Pickett practices today to see how the bone bruise to his left knee is doing. Maybe he plays Sunday against the Ravens. And the Giants fixed all of their offensive line problems yesterday by signing former first-round pick Justin Pugh to their practice squad. Pugh was on the open market after tearing his ACL with the Cardinals.
That dude's still in the NFL?
Well, technically he's on a practice squad now. Yeah. So he's a kind of a failed Giants first-round pick who they're bringing back now to fix the current failed first-round pick problem.
Ooh, that's another love thing we could do. Guys who are married to coaches' daughters. Because Pugh's married to Coughlin's daughter, right? Or did I make that up?
That's Chris Snee.
Yes.
Oh, that's Snee, not Pugh.
Yeah.
Another Giants line.
But he's a good one, so that's okay.
And then, of course, Seth Curry is married to Doc Rivers' daughter.
Yes, you're right. Callie.
So, there's a lot of room here.
That's
we can
too much brain
explore.
power this morning.
Yeah.
I got to think of the daughter and the coach.
I can't believe I got Justin Pugh and Chris Snee confused.
No, you're right. Also, Zach Taylor is married to Mike Sherman's daughter, someone like that.
Oh,
That
the
sounds-
Bengals head coach.
That is
right?
not making our power couple list.
I believe isn't Jason Taylor married or with Zach Thomas's sister?
Yeah, well,
You might be right.
AJ Hawk is married to
Brady Quinn's sister?
Brady Quinn's sister. Yeah, it's all a little too close for me.
Feeling a little weird. 855-2124-CBS. Okay, a lot more to do, including we check in on Deion Sanders next. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Maggie, remember you have a sponsor for your read. Okay. This is Andrew Perloff with an Odyssey Sports Minute. This is Andrew Perloff with a CBS Sports Minute. Pittsburgh Steelers coach Mike Tomlin is as old school as they come in the NFL. Despite coming in with a lot of hype, their offense has been a disaster. Fans are loudly calling for a coaching change on that side of the ball. So how does Tomlin respond? He said they need more padded practices. They didn't get the ball past the 50-yard line on offense the entire first half on Sunday against Houston. But Tomlin thinks if they're more physical, it will all work out. He's had a lot of success.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. If you're stuck in a timeshare and want out, contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. Welcome to Maggie and Perloff, new morning show here on CBS Sports Radio. Got a lot of topics on the burner today, but what's basically the cream rises to the top, which is the best athlete, non-athlete power couple of all time. You can vote on our poll at Maggie and Pearl. You can give us a call, 855-212-4CBS. I said Brady and Giselle. Perloff.
I went DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe.
EJ?
Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade.
Peopleati?
Macho Man and Liz.
Okay, so you are welcome to weigh in on your favorite, and we'll get back to the phone calls. But first, we check in with Deion Sanders.
Daily.
Do you believe that?
Deion.
You believe that?
Deion Sanders addressing the media yesterday, and by his account, not as many faces in the crowd this week as there were for the big matchup with USC.
Well, we know who's who today, huh? It's a thin line. It's a thin line between love and hate. It's a thin line. Let me see, I could count. 1, 2, 3. This first weekend I could count. I appreciate all of you tremendously for your love, your support, your consistency.
There you go. So Deion, not a great singer. I think he actually did have a song, though, at one point.
I think so.
The money.
Yeah. Thank you, EJ. Nice.
Well, he was walking to a press conference. I don't think he had any chance to warm up the vocal cords.
Me.
Okay, I told you, Maggie, that the Deion story had to die down. And it was just burning way too bright. This is not even a critique of Deion. There's no way America could have kept up the Deion energy. I mean, there's got to be, after a few weeks, it just became too much.
No, I blame not Deion, not Colorado. I blame Arizona State University. They are not bringing the heat. I'm interested in this game, though, obviously off of the Oregon blowout and then the close loss to USC. How do they do now as a favorite on the road against, pretty mediocre to / bad Pac-12 opponent?
Arizona State's had a lot of injury problems. They've been a mess. So the spread actually opened at 6, came down to 4.5 because, as Sean King, former NFL quarterback, told us, Vegas is still guessing.
I know.
Even within the game against USC, it looked like the easiest cover of all time for the Trojans, and the Buffs stormed back, so it's hard to tell. I'm back on the Deion bandwagon, by the way. I was off it.
What?
When all this hype was going on, it was too much for me. Well, I don't like when things become too popular.
It's funny considering you're Mr. Bandwagon.
Yeah, well, I like when teams win. I will admit that. But I just thought I kind of resent when things get a little too popular. And I think there are a lot of people like me, kind of like sort of buzzkills, I guess.
Yeah, thanks. Wet blankets. Cool.
But there's another reason, too, that I'm back into Deion.
Tell us.
He kind of addressed my 76ers last night, who are, for some reason, practicing in Colorado. He's giving Joel Embiid a little bit of hype.
Yeah, that's what's going to be the difference.
Well,
Joel Embiid's now going to show up in a Game 7 because Deion Sanders gave him a rah-rah speech in October.
Deion is a master motivator. Honestly, I think this could help.
This is the wrong time. They should bring him in right before you have to play the Celtics, not
It's
now.
a thin line between love and hate.
Well, listen,
They don't
he's
need
better
the
than
speech now.
They have Nick Nurse coaching. It's better than Doc Rivers. I'm excited. This everything feels like it's coming together for the 76ers. I know James Harden may or may not show up, but I'm back into Deion.
Okay. Quickly, let's head to the phone. Sean is in Oregon's got a power couple for us. Sean, who do you have?
Hey, is bodybuilding a sport?
Sure.
Well, can you put Mr. Universe Arnold Schwarzenegger and his wife as a power couple in America?
Pretty good.
Then,
Maria Shriver is a Kennedy. It's pretty good.
Big time.
Yep.
And then in the world, I mean, that's in America. And I don't even know who Travis Kelce is, but I know who David Beckham is. And you got to put them as a power couple.
I know. We whiffed on the Beckhams. That was a bad job by us.
And you guys are being played twice a day here on the West Coast. I'm listening to you live now, and then you guys come back on at noon in your old time slot. You guys are on twice a day here now.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, listen, there's a lot of little jokes, Easter eggs that we're laying all over the show. Listen to us twice. You'll probably get a whole different experience, like an episode of The Simpsons. Thank you, Sean.
I think that's in part because of your Oregon Ducks fandom, which you, it's been a quiet week. It's just been a quiet confidence coming out of you on your Oregon bandwagon jump.
Don't worry. The morning show will soon understand the ways and the power of the duck. The duck suit will make an appearance this week. Quickly, Brad is in Boise. Brad, good morning.
DJ Tanner and the hockey guy.
Power couple.
Nothing wrong with the DJ Tanner, right?
Love DJ Tanner. Her name in real life is Candace Cameron.
Gotcha.
And Brad, thank you. And his name is Bure. Who was it? Who's she married to?
Valerie Bure.
Valerie Bure.
How many hockey players are dating actresses? And I don't even, I don't know all these people. And what show is she on?
She was on Full House.
Full House.
Okay.
In Fuller House.
Right, and Fuller House, the sad reboot.
Wait, she was the adult, right?
No, she was the oldest daughter.
Oh, the oldest daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perloff missed Full House.
I've seen, actually, I tried to watch Fuller House. I like Bob Saget a lot, the late Bob Saget.
Yeah.
He's from Philadelphia like me, met him many times, hysterically funny, like John Stamos, but no, I was not into her.
Isn't it sad? I admit this. I'm right in the Full House generation. They're how I learned about the Beach Boys. How sad is that?
John Stamos was the drummer?
Yeah. Crazy.
That was awesome. Kokomo, baby.
I love that song. So cheesy and great. Coming up, we got a historic meeting on Sunday. We'll get to that. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's a violin prodigy. Her full name is Maggie the Stallion. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Don't worry, Steeler fans. Mike Tomlin's got it all figured out. The reason you got blown out by the Houston Texans, not enough padded practices. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, the new morning show on CBS Sports Radio. Perloff, it's just like our show. You know, if we feel like we have a bad segment, we just kind of like beat each other up a little bit, and then we get back to the drawing board. No, listen, Mike Tomlin knows his team better than you and I do. It's just funny when you see that clearly there's an issue with the offense, and now you have Kenny Pickett dealing with a bone bruise. His status is questionable for this weekend. It's like, padded practices is what's going to make the difference? That sounds weird from the outside.
Here's my quick thumbnail take on the Steelers under Tomlin. They were great, and they won a Super Bowl not because of Big Ben and all their offensive stars. It was those great defensive guys. Obviously, James Harrison got a lot of attention. Ferrier, all the veteran defensive guys were just killers. And back then, you could hit a lot harder, so they got away with a lot. Then you transitioned to Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Ben Roethlisberger. Your offense became high-powered. They didn't win a Super Bowl that way.
Got to one, but didn't win.
Well, which one?
I guess Antonio Brown wasn't on the
I don't think
Green Bay.
Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, I don't think either got to a Super Bowl. We could double-check that. So I think Tomlin wants to go back to, he knows how to win, and it's tough football. It's T.J. Watt. So the offense is awful. But I think in Tomlin's mind, my success has been physical football and defense. He wants to get back there, and he seems to be ignoring all the fans who want to fire offensive coordinator Matt Canada.
It's true, and now we'll see if padded practices are going to actually be any different. Now, listen, you're playing the Baltimore Ravens coming up this Sunday. That's always a really physical matchup. That is something where you're going to have to play a really physical brand. But here's the thing. I don't think your players have to get up for a Ravens game. I mean, it's like one of the great rivalries right now in the NFL. Steelers-Ravens has become a major thing over the last decade plus. So I don't know why his team could be in any way overlooking the Ravens or feeling like they don't have to bring a physical brand. I mean, Ravens right now have a top 5 rushing defense. They've got some injuries in the secondary, but they're still a really dangerous unit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Ravens and the Bengals are now rivals too. That whole AFC North, they've seen a lot of Ty Huntley the last few years. They have not seen Lamar. On the Ravens side, I want to see this new offense with Todd Monken, their new offensive coordinator. It hasn't happened yet.
I still feel like I'm watching Lamar run around a lot.
Yeah.
I think but to be fair, there have been a lot of injuries.
Also, the metrics over the past 10 years that Monken's been in the NFL, his offenses take a long time to develop. Usually the second half of the season is a lot better than the first half. So maybe they'll pick it up. Zay Flowers, the rookie wide receiver, is amazing out of BC.
Right now, Ravens the only team in that division with a winning record, and obviously the Bengals are on a bit of life support with Joe Burrow still dealing with that calf issue. But we focus on Steelers-Ravens because there's another part of this. It's going to be a historic meeting between Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh when they meet this Sunday, which is the 34th meeting. That's second most among coaches since going back to Curly Lambeau and George Halas. I mean, this is pretty epic stuff.
Wow.
And considering the revolving door that is the NFL when it comes to coaches, it's pretty special moment that you have two guys who have been at it for so long.
Okay, so both Harbaugh and Tomlin are moving up really quickly on the all-time win list. Mike Tomlin's 16th already with 166, and he's only 51 years old. That's
pretty good.
So if he coaches, Belichick's 70, he could be the all-time, he could chase Shula.
He might have a shot.
Because,
and considering the Steelers never fire their coaches, he's in absolutely no danger.
And there's a 17th game, I think, adds to it. I don't know if you water it down. But here's my question, Maggie. Are they Hall of Famers? I put a poll up at Andrew Perloff. Are both John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin Hall of Famers? Over 80% say yes, both are. But the reality is, we've discovered it's a lot harder to get in the Hall of Fame as a coach.
It's really hard, especially if you're only a one Super Bowl winner. Now, I'm not saying that's how it's going to stay. Both of these teams could definitely win another Super Bowl, but you've got guys who aren't in now, like Mike Holmgren, Marty Schottenheimer, people like that. It's just really hard to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
as a coach.
I think that both guys have a really good shot because Bill Cowher got in for Pittsburgh, and Mike Tomlin is obviously following in his footsteps. Part of the reasons I think Cowher got in is everyone loves Bill Cowher. Super nice guy.
Is this a likability award?
100%.
No, it is with the players. Like it seems like the voters hold it against the players like T.O. and others if they're not like super media friendly. But the coaches too?
I think so. Okay. The winningest coaches, Shula won, Hall of Famer. Halas, Belichick, Landry, Andy Reid will definitely be a Hall of Famer. One thing is you get kind of old because they don't want to put you in. Curly Lambeau. Marty Schottenheimer at 7 is not a Hall of Famer.
Crazy.
I feel like you say he's part of NFL history. He feels like a Hall of Famer to me.
Absolutely. I think Dan Reeves feels like a Hall of Famer to me.
That one I don't know.
He
think made
Reeves
3
does.
Super Bowls, but he got killed in all of them.
Well, but Marv Levy is in with 4 Super Bowls, and they only were close in 2 of them.
How about current coach Pete Carroll? He's 17th on the win list behind Tomlin, actually, which is funny. Obviously had a lot of success at USC as well. That one is tricky because you get it confused with his college success.
Well, if the Pro Football Hall of Fame was a little more like the Basketball Hall of Fame, it could actually encompass both careers, and he'd be in already.
Dungy is in, right?
Dungy is in.
So, yeah, I think being the first African-American coach to win the Super Bowl was part of that. And also, too, Dungy guys like that, they had so many coaches underneath them who became stars. That's why I think Mike Shanahan should be in.
Mike Shanahan not being in is also crazy, but it looks like they're putting in like one coach a year. Don Coryell just got in. Jimmy Johnson was like 80 when he got in.
Dick Vermeil, my guy, just got in. Sean Payton will probably get in, I think. He's in his 50s.
I think that's a borderline right now.
He's got a long time to coach. He'll figure it out. Not this year with Denver, but he's going to win eventually, Maggie.
EJ, looks like you want to say something.
Yeah, no, I just thought that the point about Dungy was interesting because I think that actually helps Tomlin, too. I think that Tomlin, in some ways, is a little bit of a trailblazer. You know, he was essentially hired by the Rooneys. They hired him basically because they wanted to expand their search. They didn't expect to hire him. Remember, they were going to hire either Russ Grimm or I believe it might have been Arians, I think, or one of the Wisenhunt. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wisenhunt and Grimm were the favorites to get that job. And they interviewed Tomlin. They really liked him, and they kind of surprised themselves in the NFL world when they hired him. So I think that some of that, Rooney Rule legacy or some of the stuff that you're talking about with adding diversity with the head coaching hires, I think that could actually also help Tomlin in terms of him having a Hall of Fame case.
If only they were better with it,
Right,
across the landscape. But of course, Mike Tomlin is a great example of that.
Yeah, it's interesting because Tomlin has lasted forever, and a lot of new coach hires. Maggie, you said it well. The average lifespan is 2 years now.
It's funny when we always call like the NFL the not for long. That was always for the players, but now it's the coaches. Like, you get basically 2.5 years.
One thing you and I disagree about on coaches, not that we disagree about, I think I'm on top of this. You cannot judge a coach by his opening press conference. That is one thing. Because former Giants coach Joe Judge killed it, and Nick Sirianni was a stumbling, bumbling fool.
He was literally talking about fertilizer.
Yes.
Like poop. And somehow rebounded to win the NFC 2 years later.
Well, Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl for the Eagles. He was the worst hire in ever. The media always gets
everyone
it
thought
wrong.
he was an idiot.
Yeah, so I think, listen, nobody was excited about Matt Eberflus in Chicago. We all thought, like, what's an Eberflus was our question. So I just think it's really hard. I think it's a lot harder. You think Jonathan Gannon in Arizona has shown a lot of fight. But even so, if they don't win games, it's hard to last in the NFL. That makes Tomlin and Harbaugh more remarkable. To me, they're both Hall of Famers. I think they're great coaches.
I think they will be Hall of Famers when all is said and done. But that's not just about them being great coaches. You also have to have like a good front office, ownership that's not, with a hairpin trigger. Like, you got to have stability. It's like, this is why, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan or
a Jets fan,
it's just constant revolving door.
Yeah.
Giants lately.
I mean,
like that.
The Browns is the worst.
Well, the Bills used to be like this. I mean, they were cycling through guys all the time. Rex Ryan, Doug Marrone, Dick Duran. I mean, Greg Williams. I could go on and on.
I have a special Bills guest for you later this week.
Do I have to guess?
Well, a may or may not have coached in Buffalo recently.
Wow. You went out of your way?
Yes. I believe last year's defensive coordinator, Leslie Frazier, will be joining us because you are so excited about the way the defense is playing.
I love it. He's responsible for a lot of that. And McDermott, of course.
Yeah, but also, he was a former Eagles coach as well.
Oh,
He's a Buddy Ryan acolyte.
Funny, I thought it was going to be Chan Gailey. I'm really happy it's Leslie Frazier.
Leslie Frazier was the head coach in Chicago, by the way, right? Or was he in Buffalo? Minnesota. Oh, okay. Another one, he had no chance. I mean, like, how many coaches have they gone through?
Tons. And they're going to probably go through another one if things don't turn around quickly, and we see no sign of that. The Great Debate Series is something we do here on Wednesdays. Oh, by the way, so you can go to @Andrew Perloff or @Maggie and Pearl, and you can vote Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, are they Hall of Famers? On Wednesdays, we like to do something called the Great Debate Series. And this week, inspired by Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, we're asking for the greatest athlete, non-athlete power couples of all time. Now, here's the caveat. Athlete, non-athlete, I just said that. Also, had to be married. We're not just going to go with like a fling here.
Yeah, so Travis and Taylor are not on this list.
It's just inspired by.
And it'd be preferable if they were real relationships, unlike Travis and Taylor. Not marketing ploys.
Yeah, just publicity stunts. They have to halfway like each other. We'll go around the room just to give people who we thought of. Go ahead, Perloff.
I went Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio.
EJ.
D-Wade and Gabrielle Union.
Pete.
Randy Savage and Liz.
And I went with Brady and Giselle. Just the classic. Let's head to the phones. 855-212-4CBS. Brandon is in Topeka, Kansas. Brandon, how are you?
Good morning, Maggie. Good morning, Perloff. How you guys doing?
Great.
Been with you guys from the afternoons, so thank you for taking my call.
Oh, thanks for coming along with us to the mornings.
Wanted to say welcome to the mornings. I am a weirdo and a coffee drinker.
Yes.
So love you guys. I grew up on the Cosbys and Inside the NBA. So I love Felicia and Ahmad Rashad.
Brandon, the Weedos, we know you guys are super smart. Always got your finger on the pulse of everything. Solid call.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Devin the Dude, sipping coffee. Great for some bump music. Love you guys coming to the mornings. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you so much. That is such a good one. Love the Cosby Show.
They were a huge deal back in the day.
I know, a little problematic now, but did love the Cosby Show. And Inside the NBA is why I'm an NBA fan.
But your era of Inside the NBA, was that Ahmad Rashad?
It was Ahmad Rashad in Willow Bay.
Willow Bay.
And then went to Summer Sanders.
That's right.
Which is and then I kind of became friendly with Summer Sanders. We're acquaintances. She's a huge Bills fan. And I've met her a couple times on different TV shows and stuff. And I'm fangirl with Summer Sanders because she was such a big deal to me.
What
Olympic
who
swimmer.
hosted this? Grant Hill hosted now, I want to say.
She Grant Hill hosted it with Kristen Ludlow.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do it though. I think they might have canceled it.
Oh no.
I don't think they do it every week. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen it. But I remember it was a big deal when they brought it back. I love Inside Stuff. I have an Inside Stuff shirt. I'm all about the 90s.
Every time they do like a Nickelodeon game or a Toy Story game or something, people are like, oh, this is so dumb. It's not going to get kids to like football. It's like, I got to be honest, Inside Stuff probably, also Michael Jordan helped, but Inside Stuff really helped like a young generation. I was watching that on Saturday mornings and it stayed with me forever.
That's pretty lame. That's why you like the NBA? Inside Stuff?
No, when I was like 8, that's why I started.
Inside Stuff was incredible. How are you going to disrespect Inside Stuff like that?
It was always Inside Stuff into the NBA Saturday game
of the week with the NBC
theme.
awesome theme song.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Round
because,
Ball Rock.
Because I like Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley. I didn't need some kid story.
It was like 60 minutes for basketball in like a fun way. They would like do feature stories.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I don't think it was like super like kiddie either. Like, I mean, like they would show you highlights from the games and then they would do like Maggie said, the features. And, it wasn't like, tell us about your tough upbringing, but it was like, how you like living in Minnesota. Like, I remember Kevin Garnett's, rookie year, he's an 18-year-old and he's in snowy Minnesota trying to figure it out. Like those were great moments. I think that's just like great for any sports fan.
Gosh, you guys are so soft. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. I'm sorry. That's like, EJ, are you like Maggie where you're giving moral victories because the Jets came close to the Chiefs the other night?
No, I have no moral victories or anything like that. But I'm a sucker for all things 90s. I'm a sucker for love. I'm a sucker for making things fun. So Inside Stuff is right up my alley.
That's a pretty good argument. It's tough to argue with all those things you just said. But
Also, this has been very wild, at least for me. This is the first time that I've been alive. So I'm 40. And this is the first time I've been alive where I was there the first time the trend happened. Like I lived it and now it's coming back. Like I was in the 90s. I remember the 90s. And now young people like EJ are into the 90s. And I'm like, wait a minute. I remember this the first time. It's like what people in the 70s must think when Birkenstocks came back. And
so you love it ironically. It just dawned on me you weren't there for any of that.
Yeah.
So in the 90s, I was, I wasn't into Inside Stuff. I was into analytics before it was popular.
Yeah, sure.
I was studying shot charts while you guys were watching features on
graph and calculators.
Yeah. I was like the Sam Hinkie before Sam Hinkie.
I was watching Willow Bay go shopping with John Starks, and you were mapping 3-point
By the way,
shots.
I would watch that anytime. Maybe I don't remember. I saw it recently with Grant Hill and whoever it was. It was
Kristen Ludlow, yeah.
The problem is you can't do those shows in the Instagram age. You get so much access to everybody's closet that you don't need these feature shows at all.
Yeah, it's true. Like you can't bring back cribs.
Yeah, I mean, my daughters, TikTok just blows all that stuff out of the water. They won't even turn on the TV. It's too lame for them.
How wild is that? Perloff's preteen daughters, teenage daughters, can't even watch TV because it's too slow.
No, I'm like, please, would you put that phone down and watch a rom-com with me? I mean,
they just can't do it. Go to the phones. We're asking for the best athlete, non-athlete power couple. Anna is in San Diego. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning. I'm going to date myself with this couple by saying race car driver Paul Newman, actor, entrepreneur, and his wife Rita Hayward. His salad dressing today is still making millions for charity, and he was one of the first ones that entered my mind besides DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe.
Race car driver? Really, Anna? Are we going there?
We are. We are. They're in great shape. They really are.
But Paul Newman also did a little acting on the side.
That's true, but he did race like Indy cars and stock cars and everything else, and that takes a lot of upper body strength at those speeds to handle those corners.
Anna, listen, I think it's great. Thank you for bringing something to the table that was off our radar. We love it. Don't be a stranger. Was Paul Newman actually a good race car driver? I have no idea.
I think he was pretty competitive. Did it really serious for many, many years.
Okay, I missed that whole
Even
part
into
of
his
Paul
old
Newman.
age. Yeah. Paul Newman is pretty cool. Any history of him? I don't think we have. Do we have Paul Newmans anymore? Like, is there a movie star? I think, in my opinion, another show fight. I'm more of a Brad Pitt guy. I think you're more of a Leo guy.
Yeah.
But Paul
Who's
Newman
more
and
like a
Robert
Paul
Redford,
Newman?
you don't really get those guys anymore.
Like a Renaissance man kind of.
No, like a true movie star, like just
I thought you meant
bigger
like-
than everything.
I thought you meant a movie star that also does, like Paul Newman is also a race car driver, someone who has multiple endeavors.
A movie star could also be in a critically acclaimed movie. I guess you have Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, but I think that Paul Newman sort of, that kind of guy doesn't exist anymore.
Tom Hanks?
I mean, Hanks is.
But was he a leading man like Paul Newman?
Oh, yeah.
He's just not like the beautiful. Sorry.
No.
He's not like, he doesn't have like the movie star good looks.
Right.
You know? Not like Tom Cruise. Let's think about that while we go to Daryl in California. This is a good one. Daryl, good morning. How are you?
Hey, how you doing this morning?
We're doing great. What do you have for us?
I want to say, can't remember if they were married or how long they were married, if they were, but I want to say David Justice and Halle Berry.
It was a huge power couple. They were married. They were married. So, Daryl, that's a good call by you. They were super famous. That ended badly.
Yeah,
though,
I think
right?
that ended really badly.
Really badly. So I had not thought of them. I kind of put them out of my mind because I think there were some allegations about some bad things going on in that marriage.
EJ, that's 90s, right? That's right up your alley.
That is 90s. Yes, I remember that as a kid. That the whole thing. But yeah, when he called, and I was like, oh yeah, that was a huge deal.
Huge.
'Cause David Justice was like, he was a star, like a legit star in baseball at that point in time.
Oh, I mean, you play for the Braves at that point, and you play for the Yankees. Like, it doesn't get any bigger in baseball at that time.
Those Cleveland teams were really good.
And Cleveland teams were great. You're right.
They were married from 93 to 97, and there's such a 90s feel about that relationship.
No doubt. Quickly, Adam is in Vancouver's got one for us. Adam, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing awesome.
Good. Welcome to the mornings, too, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. So I'm going to show my Canadian here a little bit. I'm going to go Mike Fisher and Miss Monday Night Football, Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, close enough Sunday night. But yeah, Adam, that's an awesome one.
Sunday night, yeah.
Thank you. And, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I thought that you were done. Are they still married? Mike Fisher and Carrie Underwood? That's a great one.
Okay.
I think they are. 13 years of marriage.
Wow, there you go. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, and he played at Nashville, right? Is that how they met? Yeah. He was playing for the Preds, and she's there. That was an awesome one. 855-212-4CBS. We're asking for your best athlete, non-athlete power couple.
Yeah, I mean, I wish Jeff Fisher was married to
Carrie's sister or something?
Yeah, because Jeff Fisher's mustache, I would love to get that into the discussion. Big fan. Huge
excuse,
fan.
I know. The mustache thing's got to stop.
Yeah.
It's an epidemic in this country of guys wearing mustaches, ironically. Just please give us a little rest.
Wait, does Tim McGraw and Faith Hill count? Because Tim McGraw was Tug McGraw's son, therefore sports related?
No. No, I don't think that counts. No, they're two singers.
Okay.
Yeah. It's got to be an athlete.
Paul Newman just got in the conversation.
Apparently, he was a big race car driver. I knew that a little bit. Didn't really know that. Coming up, we got the latest headlines for you, everything you may have missed from yesterday. Coming up at the top of the hour, award-winning football writer Peter King will join us. We'll go all around the NFL with him. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff and you now in the mornings on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. I'm so excited today. I'm finding out that young people think the 90s were cool. And, 90s were formative years for me. NBA Inside stuff I wasn't into, but NBA on NBC was my jam.
Of course.
Oh, my God. It was huge. Brett Favre. Bring it all back. I love the 90s.
Favre's got some issues.
He's
got some legal things to clear up, but once he gets over those...
Current Brett Favre, I want no part of.
Oh, yeah.
1996, Brett Favre was having pill problems, winning MVPs. It was all amazing. Sports was so much cooler back then. There were no rules. Everyone was doing steroids and helmet-to-helmet hits. It was a much better time, Maggie.
Well, Andrew Bogusch is here for the latest headlines, and I do think it's funny that you're looking at this Atlanta Braves team, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but they are putting up these historic numbers in this season, and everything is like, no one's hit this many home runs since, and it's like insert high point of the steroid era. It's like
Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, no one's has scored this many runs since peak steroid
Well,
stuff.
actually, though, the total home run numbers are high these days, right? Since the strategy changed in the game, I think they've set a lot of records.
Well, they've fiddled with the baseball quite a bit.
Big time.
They didn't.
Yes, they definitely did. Oh, yeah. They'll tell you they did. It's like, oh, it was a wiffle ball for all of 2018, but nobody pay attention to that.
Oh, also, you can use digital tools to steal signs. Let's not forget that.
Well, you're not supposed to. Andrew Bogusch is here. Good morning, Bogusch.
Good morning. I'm still stunned by your your lack of inside stuff respect. I would have pegged you for an inside stuff like lifer. You would have been all about that show. That show was amazing.
It's soft, fluffy sports.
Liar.
NBA inside stuff. Have they ever been critical of a player?
That's not what they're there for.
No, it was like
That's what I mean.
Did you not like This Week in Baseball?
Love This Week in
It's
Baseball.
the same thing.
I don't think Mel Allen was critical of a player.
Yeah.
I think Perloff just wants nothing but 90-minute documentaries about the Jailblazers.
I actually, you know what? I didn't love. That's true. I didn't really love E60 either.
Are they still around?
No, but I like 30 for 30s. I like documentaries.
Yeah.
But I don't like the 6-minute feature. I don't know. Like, are those shows? Is E60 up your alley, Bogusch?
I mean, documentaries
Like a 60
are-
minutes for sports. Would that be good? They do
Yeah,
have that.
real sports.
Not anymore.
It's
All
like
those shows are disappearing.
I know, but it won a gajillion Emmy awards.
Yeah.
So if you had your choice, Maggie, between real sports and inside stuff, which style do you prefer?
Well, how old am I? when Inside Stuff was happening, I was 8.
Right. When I'm watching Saved by the Bell,
Yeah.
it's like Hang Time with Mr. Cooper, and then
Yes.
Inside Stuff, like that's the wheelhouse.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
What was the other show?
Hang Time.
Hang Time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Who was in Hang Time?
Nobody that you would
Yeah,
know.
nobody.
But you might remember the theme song when Pete finds it in 30 seconds on the internet and plays it.
Okay.
I remember hanging with Mr. Cooper. Because
Right.
I remember that was when I was so young. Michael Cooper played basketball? And it's like you learn about things in reverse sometimes.
So can I make a confession of how stupid I am? The show The White Shadow.
Sure.
The show The White Shadow, long old school show.
Yeah.
Ken Reeves, the coach, the actor who was later on Curb Your Enthusiasm, I thought he was an actual former NBA basketball player. And he was 6'6". Because in the opening scene, he's in a Bulls jersey. My whole life, I thought he was a basketball player turned actor. And
Do you
it
also
turns-
think Craig T. Nelson was coaching the Minnesota Gophers? I mean,
Kinda.
TV's not real.
I thought that was a real team when I was a kid.
But you just reminded me because when I was a kid, like guys like Mike Ditka would be a gym teacher in a sitcom,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Dick
And
Butkus.
Dick Butkus.
He was on Hang Time.
Yeah, not Mike Ditka. It was Hang Time, which was with Dick Butkus. Okay, that's where I got it from.
Yeah. Hang time.
They played basketball.
Yeah.
high
That's pretty
school.
good.
I've never heard of this show before.
Yeah, it was after or before Saved by the Bell on NBC on Saturday mornings.
It was on for 5 years, apparently.
Yeah.
Anthony Anderson was on it.
Yes, that's
No
right.
Is that right?
way.
That's where he
Yeah.
got started.
Okay, some headlines. Let's do it.
Sure. The baseball-playing Heathens in Philadelphia beat the Marlins last night 4-1 to start their best-of-3 wild-card series. But the headlines, not about Zach Wheeler's great start or Bryce Harper once again ignoring his coaches. It's Nick Castellanos flipping an apparent bird at his dugout after a fourth-inning double.
A lot of people around America thought you flipped the bird, but was it the ring finger? Of course it was the ring finger, man. Why would I give the middle finger to my teammates? I love them. I know. Well, I just want to clear it up for the internet. And the ring finger, you're looking for that ring? That's why we're here, man. But October.
NBC Sports Philadelphia again, the clarification, which was necessary because we could have assumed a Philly player did flip off his own teammate.
Like Eli Manning and the Philly fans. Here's the thing. Can you actually stick up your ring finger?
I just tried. It's
I've
really
tried it before.
hard.
It's really weird. I'm
Try
doing
it.
By the way, if anyone's watching us on YouTube, CBS Sports
Yeah.
Radio YouTube, that's not my middle finger. I don't understand what he was doing.
Well, I can't do it without using my left hand to stretch up the ring finger. So how did he do it? I only saw it after the fact. Did he manipulate his finger up to
Guys,
get it
they're
done?
professional athletes. I mean, they've got full body control. It's not like normal. They don't have
Yeah,
normal
I
bodies.
can't do it just by just one-handed. Am I okay?
Winning one wild card game against the Marlins, is that really time to call for a ring? I mean, there's a lot of baseball left there.
It's the goal. That's what they're going for.
No, but it's not exactly Steph Curry doing night-night to the Celtics.
We're not in Game 6 of the World Series. We're in Game 1 of the wild card.
The rest of day one of the postseason was PG, except for the Rays fielding 4 errors and a 4-0 home loss to the Rangers. The Twins held off the Blue Jays 3-1 for their first playoff win since 2004. And Arizona won in Milwaukee 6-3 after trailing 3-0. This was the turning point, according to D-backs manager Torey Lavello.
And the pitch. High fly ball, deep right field. And that one sails on out of here. Long home run, Corbin Carroll. It's a 1-run ball game. It's 3-2.
That's Greg Schulte on Diamondbacks Radio. Ketel Marte took Corbin Burns deep on the next pitch to tie the game. Then Gabe Moreno homered in the 4th for the lead for good. Same schedule as yesterday. All 4 series on the field. Rays, Rangers is first at 3 Eastern. Padres third baseman Manny Machado had elbow surgery yesterday. He'll miss 4 to 6 months, which means maybe he's not ready for opening day. Machado only DH'd in September because of the elbow problem. Maggie's Bills are surging, but corner Tre'Davious White's out for the season again. But Von Miller might be back this weekend.
If I was a betting man, I would say, yeah, you can expect to see Von Miller in London. This is my first time playing in London, and who knows how many chances I get to play in London. So I want this to happen. I'm pushing for it to happen.
Von Miller, talking about Von Miller on the Von Miller podcast on BR Gridiron. He tore his ACL last November. Playing will come down to how he does in practice today and tomorrow before flying across the Atlantic.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. This is so... I'm not saying that the Bills are definitely going to beat the Jags. That's not it. You don't need Von Miller until after Thanksgiving. This dude is an over 30-year-old pass rusher who is strictly there to try to get Buffalo to win a ring. Keep this dude in bubble wrap until you have to make a playoff push. I hate it.
Also, that flight is not going to be good.
Also, there's something about those Europe games.
Oh, that grass is weird.
The grass looks funny. The lighting's odd. It's just like, you go to Europe or you go to like London if you've ever been, and it's not totally different. It's just the little things.
Yeah. There's moisture on the field.
Yeah. Now, this is the Tottenham Stadium, which I think they actually retrofit with a real field, and they bring the soccer pitch over the top of that, so it's a little bit better, I think. But I have the same. This is not where you come back from an ACL injury.
Definitely not.
No.
Why would you do this?
Right.
It makes no sense, and I just don't think rushing. I don't think he's being rushed back, but just save it.
Yeah, this is also him saying he wants to play this weekend.
Yeah, but
they have not.
The Bills
said.
aren't gonna. They're not gonna stand in his way.
Colorado stud Travis Hunter has already missed 2 games. Dion thinks he'll miss at least 2 more. Still recovering from that lacerated liver. The Buffs play Arizona State and then Stanford next. And speaking of Colorado, the Sixers are holding training camp in Fort Collins. James Harden expected to join his teammates today, but isn't expected to actually play basketball with them. And Lexi Thompson will be the 5th woman to play a PGA Tour event next week in Vegas, accepting a sponsor's exemption. Thompson's good at making history, being the youngest player to qualify for the U.S. Women's Open when she was 12. She's also the youngest to win an LPGA event. She was 17 then. Brittany Lincecum was the last to do this 5 years ago. Michelle Wee played 8 PGA events over her career. Guys, back to you.
Bogish, thank you so much. Appreciate that. We'll have Peter King at the top of the hour, but very important stuff next, and that is Perloff going against the grain. For the very first time as a morning show, it's against the grain time.
It's a lot of pressure you're putting on me.
I know. You better get it
The
together.
very first time.
Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. In just moments, Perloff goes against the grain for the first time in the morning. But we are asking you in our great debate series, which we do on Wednesdays, the best athlete, non-athlete power couple, loosely based off of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. But our caveat is they had to be married. We're not going flings here. Big Dave is in Kentucky. He's got one we have not thought of yet. Good morning, Big Dave.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, thank you. there's not like a prerequisite that this has to be like a happily ever after relationship couple married, right?
Well, we had David Justice and Halle Berry. Someone called in about that.
Yeah.
And that one ended kind of badly. So, no, what do you have for us?
I'm going totally rogue. Mike Tyson, Robin Givens.
Man, talk about not ending well. Didn't end well, but they were so famous.
Huge.
Yes, massive. That was a good one, Dave.
Wait, what show was Robert Givens on, by the way, Dave? I can't remember.
Head of the class.
Yep.
It was like something class of 1996 or something like that.
Yeah.
Head of the class was, thank you. Pete Bellotti was quick on that one. She was huge. Yeah. Tyson was obviously like not just boxing, but a cultural phenomenon. And then they had the big sit down with Barbara Walters to talk about their marriage troubles. And that made them even more famous / infamous.
So I basically just did a mic drop. I mean, is that what we're saying? I basically did a mic drop on this.
Well, you better keep calling back. If a mic drop means that you got to exit stage left.
Dave, by the way, your owner, Jerry Jones, said that the NFC runs through San Francisco. He forgets pretty quickly who won the NFC last year, Dave. And I blame you for this.
No, it's a ridiculous comment. I hate the Eagles worse than anything, but the NFC runs through Philadelphia, unfortunately.
Dave, you're the best. Thanks so much for weighing in. You are welcome to drop us a line if you want to on Twitter. You can find us at Maggie and Pearl, at Maggie Gray, at Andrew Perloff. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/Maggie and Perloff. If you want to hang out with us on YouTube, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. The chat is there. The Weedos and the coffee drinkers. They used to be purple drinkers when we were in the afternoon. Now they are coffee drinkers. And we say good morning to them. Of course, our amazing CBS Sports Radio affiliates. We love you. Let's get to it.
Against the grain.
All right. For those of you who are not familiar with this is a column that started at Sports Illustrated before you were there even. I think it was 2009. Yeah. I had this idea that maybe Tom Brady was partly a system quarterback. I'm like, let's put that down in print. Bit of a mistake because that was before Tom Brady threw, I think, 50 touchdowns that season. Anyway, but people, I like to go against the grain of everybody. And you know what I'm hearing these days more and more everywhere? My team is bad. I should tank for a quarterback. My team is bad. I should tank for. I mean, I'm in New York, and that's all I hear. Giants are already ready to tank. The Jets don't have any choice. They're going to be tanking. The Bears are tanking. The Arizona Cardinals presumably were tanking, although they're playing really tough. You go down the list. Atlanta was brought up yesterday. They should tank. So everyone wants to tank. Here's the thing, Maggie. I looked at the last 10 years of first-round quarterbacks, and you would think, first round, you have a good chance. I have 15 strong fails, 10 hits, and 5 undecideds. That means there's a 60% chance that your first-round quarterback is going to fail. List of failures. This is a fun list. Mitch Trubisky, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Daniel Jones, failure, you will admit. I know he signed a contract, but he's a failure. The late Dwayne Haskins. Zach Wilson, failure. Trey Lance, already gone from his team, failure. Justin Fields, failure. Mac Jones, failure. Paxton Lynch. Marcus Mariota, Blake Bortles, I can go down the list. EJ Manuel, I want to bring that up.
Yeah, thanks.
Your Bills. Then you have, of course, you have your Mahomes and Watson, Josh Allen. Quick question. I have 4 undecideds. Are these guys failures or hits? Kyler Murray.
I mean, he's making $100 million guaranteed.
Was that a good draft
pick,
Maggie? Was that worth tanking for? No, it's not worth tanking for Kyler Murray.
I'm not writing off Murray. That homework clause thing, though, really made me scared.
Was Jameis Winston worth tanking for?
Oh, gosh.
Didn't sign a second contract. And was Teddy Bridgewater a fail or a hit?
Last pick of the first round. I mean, if he doesn't get hurt, maybe Teddy Bridgewater's career is different. I don't know.
That doesn't count. Okay, so here's the point. 60% of the first round picks fail. So you might get Caleb Williams, a surefire Trevor Lawrence type. I will give you right now that he's going to be a great draft pick. But all these other tanking teams, you're going to look. Here's a list. Pro Football Focus put out a mock draft yesterday. They have Drake May at number 3. He's not even winning football games in North Carolina. Number 5, the Vikings taking J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. I'm sorry, that's a Jim Harbaugh product. Number 8, the Patriots taking your guy, Bo Nix. How about the Auburn tape? And number 19 is the Falcons, Michael Penix. Injured both shoulders, has 2 major knee blowouts, rumored to have major problems with his knees. My point is there's no sure thing. There's no point in tanking right now, Maggie. I was a big tanking guy, but I'm sorry. You are playing with fire if you think that you're going to get your savior in your first round. History shows you that. How many times have your Buffalo Bills picked a first rounder and it's not worked out? It's this fantasy that this year's quarterback class has all the answers. I'm starting to think, and I used to be that way. I used to think tank, tank, tank. I think it's more of a fantasy, and I don't think it really gets your franchise where it's going. What do you think?
Oh, man, it's a solid against the grain because everyone keeps looking at Caleb Williams sort of highlighting and headlining this class and being like, look at all these quarterbacks in this class. But if you look a little deeper, of course, you're going to find flaws with everybody. You know, I think I disagree a little bit. Just because right now, if you just give me 4 games into the season, Bryce Young, I was a fan of his at Alabama, but it was going to be tough for him, I think, on the pro level. But C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, I'm into these 2 dudes. So, like,
there's so much
top 5.
So much football left to play.
I know.
There are a lot of guys who started out okay. I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of the guys who are on the fail list had a good first few games.
That's true. I mean, some of those guys, it's hard to say full failure if you've made generational, like, life-changing money.
Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones is $90 million richer now, guaranteed. Kyler Murray, $100 million guaranteed. Baker Mayfield won a playoff game. Can I say he's a failure?
You know, on the flip side, let me bring up a point about this year's draft class. It's supposed to be all-time draft class.
Supposed to be great, yep.
I'm like, here's Kuiper's top 10 big board. Came out very recently. It's already falling apart. Number 1, Caleb Williams, sure. Number 2, Drake May, sure. Shedeur Sanders at 3.
Yeah.
He's going back. I do not think he's going to be in this draft class. He wants to be number 1. He's not going to go against Caleb Williams. Number 4, Quinn Ewers has been up and down at Texas. We'll see how he does against Oklahoma. Number 5, Riley Leonard just got hurt.
Yeah, that's a shame from Duke.
Bo Nix looks good. I'm telling you, Penix is going to have health concerns.
Wait, I have a question for you, though.
It's just not the deep class that everyone thinks it's going to be.
So what's the alternative? Because if I'm a team that needs a quarterback or I want to move on from my quarterback and I'm not going into the draft and I'm not believing in one of these young guys, so I got to be left with the likes of Jimmy Garoppolo, your guy Andy Dalton, like Baker Mayfield. What am I doing? You don't have a lot of great answers.
Here's how I build the quarterback room. I don't care where I am as a franchise. I draft a quarterback every year. Yeah. My Eagles took Jalen Hurts in the second round. It turned out he was a star. The San Francisco 49ers, people did not give them enough credit. There's no reason they needed another quarterback in the 7th round. They took Brock Purdy. Boom. Washington Commanders, they might have gotten a steal in the 5th round with Sam Howell. I think there's a new trend where people are having trouble reading these quarterbacks. I think that you just hit it with quantity. You just try and try and try.
Okay, wait, but hold on one second. You can't say everybody, because if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs or if I'm the Baltimore Ravens,
Chiefs should be drafting quarterbacks. Yeah.
And I take a quarterback in the 2nd round, like what the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts, that's insane.
The Patriots took Jimmy G in the 2nd round.
And he didn't play. He sat there behind Brady.
And then they got a draft pick for him.
I don't even know who that turned into. I don't even remember.
Well, they're the smartest team of our generation, and they drafted Ryan Mallett, I think, in the 3rd round. You always got to be having guys in the pipeline.
Okay, 3rd round or later. Okay, but 2nd rounders, when you have a team that's going for it, that's in win now mode, I strong disagree on you there. If you have your guy, your franchise guy, no way.
I think there are key lessons around the NFL right now. Brock Purdy's one of them.
But he was a 7th round pick. That's a flyer. That's like...
Yeah, but I'm just saying, the fact that you got Brock Purdy and Sam Howell emerging out of nowhere, there's something weird going on here where it's not easy to read these quarterbacks.
But
there's
those
a
guys
lot of
are the exception. I mean, for the most part, you look around the league, it's 1st round picks.
Well, I would say, yeah, you look around the league, but the average 1st round pick is Kenny Pickett. I mean... I don't know that there's any guarantee anymore. And you are so sure about C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson.
I'm just saying the early returns are good. Like if I'm a fan of the Texans or the Colts, I'm feeling pretty good.
You're feeling pretty good, but we'll see. There's a long way to go. How about if you're a fan of Carolina?
Well, I'm not so good. Not so good, especially because our pal Jordan Schultz had a report yesterday that Carolina is now looking for a number 1 wide receiver at the trade deadline. Like, you had a number 1 wide receiver. Maybe you don't get that number 1 overall pick from the Bears if you don't include DJ Moore in the trade. But, like, no kidding, you're looking for a number 1 wide receiver. Yeah. You've got nothing.
The team that I've seen that people think is going to tank, your New England Patriots.
My nemesis.
I mean, like, they're not going to get the number 1 pick. So they drafted Mac Jones at 14. If you're the Patriots, are you really thinking that there's an answer here? I don't think so.
Belichick can't tank. And even like I don't think like tanking comes from the coach and the players. It's a front office thing, right? You decide to play rookies, you play inexperienced people. But Belichick is the front office.
Even with Judon getting hurt, their best player by far, Christian Gonzalez, their star rookie, already getting hurt.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I just think Belichick coaches his way into at least 7 wins.
We'll see. They're drafting a quarterback, too. It's just going to be a lot harder than people think. You're going to hear tank, tank, tank all season long. Telling you right now, that is not the strategy. And I'm a Sixers fan. They tanked for a decade. Didn't exactly win.
Yeah,
I was for it, but it didn't.
Get past the second round of the playoffs. Yes, EJ.
No, I was just thinking, like, on the quarterbacks, it's interesting because unlike past years where you could trade yourself into the number 1 pick, you can't do that this year because everyone's going to want Caleb Williams.
Right.
Like some of these teams, like the Panthers didn't have to tank last year. In fact, they didn't tank. Like they were trying to win, and they just ended up not making the playoffs. But you know what? A team.
Well, they traded up from 9, though.
Right, but that's not tanking like you're trying to get the number 1 pick. Like they were 1 game away from making the playoffs. They would have beat the Bucs late in the season. So for them, it was all right. Well, we could trade our way into a number 1 pick, or like when the Washington then Redskins they traded to the number 2 pick for Robert Griffin. They were not a team that was one of the worst teams in the league. This is going to be a different situation because you're going to have teams that are going to have to fly, with a crazy deal to potentially get Caleb Williams.
You know who you're talking about. Basically, I don't know who you're thinking of, but I'm thinking of the Atlanta Falcons. You were sitting there with top 10 picks, and you took Kyle Pitts, and you took Drake London, and now you took Bijan Robinson, and all these guys are good, but what did you neglect here? To take a quarterback with one of those high picks, and now you're here with Desmond Ridder, who's looking like he's going to be a failure. And if you're going to try to get up for this quarterback class, even if you think it's not great, Perloff, like it's going to take you a ton of capital to get up.
It is a very good class, but even a very good class is totally speculative. By the way, people trade to 2 to get Drake May because the Bears might have picks 1 and 2. So then you call them, you get Drake May at number 2, maybe Shedeur Sanders. That's okay. It's not bad.
Well, you think Shedor's going back.
Shedor's definitely going back. I want to show bet on that. Anyone want to take me up?
I mean, I think you're right. I agree with you, by the way, that he's going back.
Oh, yeah. It's too much fun.
855-212-4CBS. I think he's still going to the NFL. 855-212-4227. Coming up next, we get the thoughts of award-winning football writer, Football Morning in America. Peter King was just out in Colorado with Dion. We'll see what he thinks about Shedeur. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's been on the TB12 method since he was 6. She's on her 3rd scotch. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff on CBS Sports Radio. We are the brand new morning show hitting important topics like what is the best athlete, non-athlete power couple in the history of sports. We'll get to your phone calls and some of that in just a little bit. But Perloff, Aaron Rodgers, injured.
Yeah.
Not coming back for a while, but that doesn't mean he can't still do interviews with Pat McAfee. We have a segment around here we call What's Up with Aaron Rodgers.
Is that what we call it?
We call it something like this.
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
See, I told you. What's up with Aaron Rodgers? What the bleep is up with Aaron Rodgers? Okay, Rodgers was on McAfee yesterday, said that he is well ahead of schedule in recovery. Pete, can we play clip number 1?
You know, it's pretty obvious I'm well ahead of the normal protocols when it comes to rehab for this kind of thing. But that was always what my mindset was, and that was what Neil and I talked about in the locker room. Honestly, after it happened, was the type of surgery that he'd been doing now for a little bit, and then whatever protocols were out there, just not adhering to those, being as smart as possible, not trying to stretch the Achilles, but stressing the Achilles in a way that allows me to start doing movement quicker and to speed up whatever timeline kind of has been the standard for this type of injury.
Dude, this guy is hell-bent on coming back or at least doing everything he can. I think this is a fool's errand for him. Mm-hmm. I'm not a doctor. He mentioned Neil. He meant Neil Elitrosh, the famous doctor who does a lot of these sports injury surgeries. But it's like he's 40. He's one of the oldest guys in the league. to come back from this as opposed to just focusing on next year when you could actually make a big impact for the Jets, it just seems short-sighted to me.
But it does seem like he's trying to keep his team engaged in the season. And to come back, if they're mathematically eliminated, Rodgers cannot step on that field. I think that's a fact. So I think he's trying to give them a carrot to play as hard as they can, which is actually a really team-first thing to do.
Yeah, you imagine, though, the team needs Aaron Rodgers to hobble in on crutches to do a win one for the Gipper speech?
I do find it weird that he's more the team, all about the Jets, than he seemingly ever was in Green Bay.
I don't know about that. Rodgers also said he was disappointed that when he did give this Saturday night speech to the Jets before the Chiefs game, that we all found out about it.
I will say this, when it comes to, some of the stuff I talked about, I think that was one of the more disappointing things about the entire weekend is that, part of the process of being a team that's connected and being a team that sticks together is that there's some things that are meant for the locker room and conversations that it should stay in the meeting room, should stay in the locker room, should stay in the hotel.
Upset that things got leaked to the media. Has he met the New York Jets? I mean, the Jets are one of the leakiest ships around. Anything that happens there feels like it gets to the media.
This is exactly what Nick Saban said about Oregon coach Dan Lanning's pregame speech before the Colorado game, that there's a sacred space in the locker room that you're supposed to protect. But that being said, after the games, they bring you into the locker room. I saw Sean Payton's speech after the Broncos won the other day. And I think there are cameras in there all the time, too. We always see it in documentaries. I'm not quite sure what Rodgers is talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to – listen.
He was on Hard Knocks.
Well, they didn't want to be, allegedly.
Yeah.
Sure. But that is something where he's got to understand. He's talking to the team right there, through Pat McAfee's show. But he's got to understand sort of where he is right now, which is –
get out of here. The Jets are just any other normal team. He's just fighting – I don't know why he's complaining. He loves the attention, so stop. But I do think, by the way, he talks like he's been a Jet for 15 years. It's so weird to me.
He has very seamlessly worked himself right to be the most important person in the organization.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember him talking like this in Green Bay. I think he's really trying to sell everybody on this team concept, and I think that's why he's talking about the health. It can't be realistically he expects to be there in Week 14, right?
Doesn't seem like it to me. Okay, let's welcome in one of our very good friends. You know him as an award-winning football writer, NFL writer. Football Morning in America is the column. The one and only Peter King getting up with us this morning. Hey, Peter, how are you?
Maggie, Andrew, how are you guys?
We're just better looking in the morning. Peter is our cheeks are rosy.
I always knew that. I used to tell you at Sports Illustrated a long time ago, many moons ago, we'd be taping something at 4 p.m. I said, Maggie, you should be doing this at 7 a.m. You're much better looking then.
It's just a rosy glow that happens only this time of day.
Peter, I remember being up at 6 a.m. when you would file the last part of Monday Morning Quarterback. That was a lot. So early mornings in a different way.
Yeah, well, Andrew, Andrew, I now this year, I've turned over a total new leaf. I'm not working after 2 o'clock.
Wow. 2 a.m.
I just, I'm 66 years old. I'm tired for, for like whatever it is, 24 weeks a year of totally sacrificing one night of sleep. Somehow, some way, I don't have to be a sleep specialist to know that's going to contribute to my early demise. So I try to get to bed right about 2:15 every Sunday. It's been working so far.
The columns, I actually wouldn't be able to tell from the column as a compliment. It's still really, it's awesome, dude.
I love that you were at Colorado last week, Peter, because this was great for your perspective. Now, Perloff and I, a little bit of a show debate developing about whether Shedeur Sanders is actually going to go to the NFL this year, or will Deion, who's kind of putting the full court press on him to stay at Colorado, will he be able to convince Shedeur to stay? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't know, Maggie. I didn't ask anybody that question when I was out there, but it just seems like Shedeur Sanders will play at Colorado this year and next, and then he'll come out in 2025. Just my gut feeling that I think on Saturday that we saw probably the top picks in the next 2 drafts and Caleb Williams in 24, and Shedeur Sanders in 25. And look, I am not the guy to give you a full scouting report on each guy in any way, shape, or form. I'm just not capable of doing that. I'm not a big college football watcher. I just know that at absolute first glance, I thought that Shedeur Sanders was a little bit better at NFL things. And by that I mean, the really tight, quick, fast, 8 to 10 yard out route, the move the chains route that you have to throw in the NFL 6 times a game. He's really, really good at that. He's really good at throwing the ball and making things happen under pressure. Caleb Williams has a lot of time. He's got a great offensive line. He's got great tools at his disposal. He shouldn't be penalized for that, absolutely. But I just think in what I saw, Shedeur Sanders, he also throws the ball extremely accurately into tight windows. I just think he's got a chance at that, to make that jump maybe a little bit easier than Caleb Williams does.
Peter, Deion said that he wants to stay in college football. He actually wants to stay in Colorado. But do you think NFL teams will call him this offseason? There's usually 5 or 6 vacancies. Do you think an owner would be interested?
I don't know if an owner is going to be interested yet. And I doubt sincerely that he will entertain offers this offseason. He told Rich Eisen a couple of weeks ago, I'm a college football coach. I'm staying. I ran into a couple of tailgaters. I got to the game really early. I mean, it's by the way, this game was at 10 o'clock local time. I get to my parking spot. It's dark out. And I go into the parking lot at Boulder, and I want to go interview some tailgaters. And this one guy says, "Oh, Deion will never leave. He loves it here and all that." But I said to him, "Well, what happens 3 years from now? Jerry and Stephen Jones fly to Boulder on the Cowboys plane, get out and say, 'Hey, Deion, you're going to be the highest paid coach in the NFL. It's your destiny to coach the Dallas Cowboys.'" You just never know. It's easy to say on October 4th, 2023, I'll never do something, but situations change, times change. So I don't know, but I doubt it would be this year, but we'll see.
Peter King is joining us. Football Morning in America is the column. And Peter, more show debates that you can settle for us, because Perloff and I also don't see Bill Belichick's future in the same way. Speaking of coaches, I'm the one who, my team got their butt kicked by Belichick for about 20 years. So he lives rent-free in my head. And I think that he gets to say when he walks away from the Patriots. Perloff thinks that he could be coaching for his job. What do you think?
I think it's one of the great questions in football and one of the great debates in football. And the answer is, I don't have any idea. And the reason I don't have any idea is that Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick basically keep their own counsel. It isn't like Robert Kraft picks up the phone and calls Jerry Jones and says, "Hey, remember when you got rid of Jimmy? How hard was that? How much crap did you take for it? What do you think?" He doesn't do that. He will make a decision that he wants to make. On the other hand, Bill Belichick, I keep thinking about this. I keep thinking that, let's just say we get to the end of this year and they're 6-11. And so then they're 6 or 7 games under 500 since Brady left. Let's just say that happens, okay? I believe that Bill would start asking himself the questions. Okay, this is 4 years now where we haven't won a playoff game. Have I reached the end of my rope here in New England? Everybody has always said, well, what will Kraft do? What will the Krafts do? But how do we know that Bill isn't going to walk into Kraft's office on January 4th and say, it's not working. Let's shake hands, part ways. Maybe I'll coach, maybe I won't, and blah, blah, blah. I just don't have a great feel for what he will do. I don't think that he has it in his mind I am staying here until they kick my rear end out of here and take my security card away. That's not who Bill Belichick is. So I don't know the answer to the question, but I do think it isn't as simple as WWRD. What will Robert do? I just don't think it's that easy.
Peter, we had an interesting coaches debate earlier. Harbaugh and Tomlin are meeting for the 34th time, the second most of any two coaches, which surprised us. And Maggie and I were debating, are those both future Hall of Fame coaches? But we went through the list. It is a really high bar for coaches. I actually didn't even know that Mike Shanahan wasn't.
Andrew, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's not a high bar for coaches.
How's that?
The bar for coaches has been lowered significantly.
How so?
Because, well, look at what's happened in the last few years. Look at all the coaches who have gotten in the last few years, and look at how look at their level of achievement.
Yeah,
let's look at Bill Cowher. Okay, John Harbaugh already has more regular season wins than Bill Cowher.
Mm-hmm.
And look at Sean Payton has more. Bill Cowher won 149 games, and he won 1 Super Bowl, okay? And so now you have to ask yourself this question, all right? There's a lot of players out there. Tony Dungy, 139 and 1 Super Bowl. Marv Levy, 143, 0 Super Bowls. Bill Cowher, 149, 1 Super Bowl. So right now, above that, are John Harbaugh with 150, Mike Tomlin with 165, and we're talking about guys who have got more wins plus at least 1 Super Bowl. John Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Mike McCarthy, Mike Holmgren, Pete Carroll, Mike Tomlin. Not to mention Mike Shanahan, who's got 2.
Right.
Who's got 2 championships. Tom Coughlin, who has 2. Basically, the Hall of Fame committee, along with the Centennial Committee, which had some Hall of Fame voters on it and also some independent people, like, for instance, Bill Belichick, when asked to correct the ills of the first, 50-some-odd years of Hall of Fame voting back in 2020, they chose instead to put in 11 of 15 mostly modern-era guys, which I thought was a bad thing for them to do, and I've written that. I've said it on multiple occasions. Instead of putting in the Buddy Parkers of the world, the guy who won 2 championships in the 50s and owned Paul Brown, they put in Bill Cowher and Jimmy Johnson. And again, I am one voice. I am 1 vote out of 48 or however many voters there are now for the Hall. I'm 1. Other people disagree with me. That's fine. It's a democracy. It's, whatever happens, but I think it's really, I think that we are going to see a crush of modern coaches getting into the Hall of Fame in the next 15 years.
Yeah, I was surprised because Shanahan and Holmgren, I think it's partly the coaching trees that were beneath them. Those were the 2 names that really stood out to me, Peter.
Well, if you think about Shanahan, he's the guy who, I think Tom Coughlin, look, when you win as much as Coughlin won, and you won 2 Super Bowls, and you beat the great and powerful Belichick and Brady twice, I mean, he's got to walk into the Hall of Fame, I think. 14th winningest coach of all time and all that. So I think and then you look at Shanahan. Shanahan obviously struggled with the Raiders, as many coaches have done under Al Davis, and then went to Denver and developed so I don't want to say a coaching empire, but had a lot of guys beneath him in Denver and Washington who've gone on to great things. And he won 2 Super Bowls. And when he went head-to-head with Mike Holmgren in the Super Bowl, with Holmgren favored by the Packers, favored over Denver by, I think, 10 or 11 points, Denver crushed him. So I think Shanahan's got to get in. I think Holmgren almost certainly is going to get in, brought 2 teams to the Super Bowl. And then you got to deal with all of these guys. Look at Mike Tomlin. It looks like if he wants to, he could coach another 10 years.
Yeah.
He's got the most patient ownership group in sports. And, the Steelers love their coaches and don't change them. So he's in year 17. Harbaugh's in year 16. I think I'm right in saying that. And I think both of those guys could coach for, 4, 5, 6 years into the future. A long time ago, I told Harbaugh, I thought he had the great personality and great mentality to be a head coach in the NFL for a long time. I said, you're going to end up being Chuck Noll. And, it seemed silly at the time, but he is only 7 years behind Chuck Noll in terms of tenure.
That's crazy. Peter, this is great. I guess we were asking you all coaching questions today. We didn't even mean to do that, but it's awesome. Last one for you is a bit of a question of the day, a little inspired by a little Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, best athlete, non-athlete power couple of all time. Now, our caveat was they had to be married. We don't want just flings here, So I said Brady and Giselle, Perloff.
DiMaggio, Marilyn Monroe.
We can't even say Madonna and A-Rod.
Oh.
That is a shame. That's a damn shame.
She kept showing up to those Yankee games. We couldn't even say A-Rod and J-Lo. They never got married. They never actually sealed the deal.
Okay. I'm going to say it's got to be Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe. And the only reason I'm going to say that is because I have a story about Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
So the year that the Super Bowl was in San Diego, Washington, and Denver, I was flying out to the Super Bowl. That was, I think, 87. I was flying out to the Super Bowl, and I get to the airport to change planes in L.A., and there in my boarding gate, about an hour before the flight leaves, impeccably dressed in a gray suit, is Joe DiMaggio. And I said, oh my gosh, I got to say, I said, hey, Joe, at the time I was working for Newsday. I said, Joe, Peter King with Newsday. Just wanted to say hello, hi, oh, hello. And so then everybody starts coming over and bothering him. And I just said to him, do you want me to sort of act as your shield here? He said, well, I would love that. And so we just sat there for like 20 minutes, and I sort of held up my hand when people came by. And so in a few minutes, I said, man, what a life you've had. It's so cool. And we were just talking, and I said, man, that is, I know this is kind of a fanish question, but that must have been cool, being married to Marilyn Monroe. And he goes, a fine girl. So anyway, that's my Marilyn Monroe, Joe DiMaggio story. I told Bill Parcells that story once, and he goes, you didn't ask Joe DiMaggio about Marilyn Monroe. I had to. Come on.
I love it. Peter King, award-winning journalist / body man for Joe DiMaggio at the LA airport.
That was me.
I love it. Peter, thank you so much. Awesome. We'll talk to you soon, and enjoy week 5. Here we are.
All the best, guys. Thanks a million.
Thanks,
Thank
Peter.
you, Peter. That's awesome.
Joe D, of course, another friend, the big friend of the show, Rock Positano, Dr. Rock Positano.
Oh, right.
Nation's
Noted
leading foot doctor.
Foot doctor, yeah.
Wrote a book about his relationship with Joe DiMaggio, best friends. Has great stories on it. If we ever need Joe D. Marilyn Monroe stories, we got all the sources. We got it covered.
I love it. A fine girl is like the 50th thing I would have said about Marilyn Monroe. But
I'm a big Marilyn Monroe fan. She married Arthur Miller, the playwright, as well. So
Death of a salesman.
She was into nerds.
There's hope.
Yeah, you don't see Taylor Swift out there dating playwrights.
Yeah, but she just had a wide variety. Joe DiMaggio, ultimate jock, and Arthur Miller, ultimate nerd.
Yeah, neither really worked out well.
No, unfortunately not. 855-212-4CBS. That's really cool, though. You got to go up to Joe DiMaggio if you see him in the airport, right?
Oh, well, not now, but yeah.
Well, yes, obviously he's passed
No,
away.
I don't go up to people in the airport.
You do not?
I'm terrified. I saw Dr. J there a few years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not good at going. You're good at it.
I saw Dr. J at the airport. I was a kid, and I went up and got his autograph.
I don't go up to people. I'm a shy autograph seeker.
I don't do it. Oh, man, I'm trying to think.
Whatever.
The last person
I went to a movie premiere with Maggie. She was talking up every celebrity there within 30 seconds, and they loved her.
Listen, I feel like I know Billy King. I don't really know him, but I felt like I did.
Oh, whatever. Basically, I'm like, where's Maggie? Oh, she's over there eating popcorn with Tobias Harris. I'm like, what is going on here?
Half Hollow Hills High School.
I did the airport thing once, and I regret it because I think me, people, wrestling fans. So I was at WrestleMania in New Orleans, and we were flying out. I guess the same day a lot of the wrestlers are flying out. and this is a whole deal. Like wrestlers hate being being approached at airports. Though I didn't really know this at that time.
Right.
So I saw my favorite wrestler, Finn Balor, at the airport, and he was with his family. And I tried to get a time where he wasn't away from his parents.
Yeah.
And he was kind of doing something else. And I went there and I wanted to take a picture, and he was nice, but you could tell he was like, come on, dude. Like, really? I even threw up the too sweet sign that he does, and he didn't want to do it. He just smiled in the camera and then was like, thank you, and that was it. I was like, I need to see Finn at a different time because I am a huge fan.
You got airport shamed. That's what
I did
happened.
get airport shamed. And now I'll never do it again. That was like the moment I was like, you know what? If I see someone at the airport, and it's happened a couple of times, I just forget it.
Stay away. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Our big thanks to Peter King. If you miss any part of the Maggie and Perloff show, we've got a podcast. It's awesome. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating. We'd be forever grateful. Coming up, we've got some headlines for you. Get you caught up on everything you may have missed. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff, the great debate series, which we do every Wednesday. Today was a fun one. Best power couple in sports off of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, except our rule has to be one athlete married to a non-athlete and married. Can't just be dating. Can't be, and it's gone on all sorts of tentacles. I'm learning more about love triangles in the pro wrestling community, which apparently there are many. But, yeah, we've had some great nominees today, Maggie.
Yeah, I mean, we all went a little bit more classic. Brady Giselle, Joe DiMaggio, Marilyn Monroe, a little Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, stuff like that. We like Mark in California's got one. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Great to talk to you. What do you have?
Okay, I got two couples. The first couple is Russell Wilson and Ciara.
Yep, that's a good one. Very of the now.
And then the other couple, they've been married forever, is Rodney Peete and Holly Robinson.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Such a good one, Mark. Thank you for the call. Holly Robinson Peete on Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Which keeps coming up today.
I know, it's like the third
circle.
time. Apparently, all these great power couples happen in the 90s.
There's a great video. Russell Wilson and Ciara have one of my favorite videos of all time. They pull over at a car and get out. There's a song playing, and Ciara starts dancing. And Russell's dancing behind her for like about 30 seconds. He's trying to hang. Then he just sits down and watches her dance for 3 minutes because he's so bad compared to her that he gives up on trying to be a background dancer.
Here comes the airplane.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the most uneven couples. I'm sorry.
For dance moves, yeah.
For everything.
For life.
Yes.
I mean, he is so robotic and kind of uncool, and she is so cool and just really entertaining to watch. Of course, I was in a movie with her. That's my boy, Adam Sandler flick. We go way back. But
did you guys actually interact with
Bogus,
each other on that set?
No. Bogus, you agree with me. That is an uneven couple.
I don't understand it. She could do better. I understand he's a very good quarterback. He's not ugly, but he's such a doofus. Like I don't.
Wait a minute.
How does she put up with him? Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing, guys. He's good marriage material, right?
Exactly.
A little
so
strange.
She's like settling for him?
No, I'm just saying, like, good marriage material for her. Like, she doesn't have to maybe worry that he's going behind her back, although who knows.
I got to defend Russ because remember, she was with Future.
Yeah.
And Future, he lives a life of a rock star. He was not necessarily the greatest partner. And he's been, kind of an issue during this Russ-Ciara relationship. He's taking shots at Russell Wilson.
Yeah, in his music. I think Russ seems like he's a good stepdad to her kid. Come on, you guys.
Ciara playing it safe with Russell Wilson is still not a compliment.
Yeah. That doesn't make it more even.
Right.
It sounds like a consolation prize.
No, it's just, fling material versus marriage material. He's a good dad, probably.
I also feel like if Russell Wilson was playing better, we wouldn't be saying, he's such a downgrade. Like, he's been playing poorly, so now we're all like, 2 years ago, everybody loved Russ and Ciara. Now it's like, hi, Ciara, we're Russ.
By the way, Russ is playing sneaky well this year. Look at his numbers. It's a defense in Denver. So maybe we get back into that couple.
Yeah, they got to win some games, though.
No, who was the guy in Denver who was keeping track of more wins or more bathrooms in their mansion? And it was definitely more bathrooms, like 15 or something.
Spicy.
Andrews in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania wants to back up Pete Bellotti. Hey, Andrew, how are you?
Good. How about you guys?
Excellent.
Yeah, I got to say, when you think of wrestling, you think Macho Man. first person you think of is Miss Liz. I mean, in wrestling, those two together, I mean, they would just dominate the wrestling ring.
Massive power couple, Andrew, although Perloff might has a problem with this one.
Yeah, because Elizabeth was not really famous. We're doing like Justin Verlander and Kate Upton. Does she have her individual fame besides being married to the Macho Man?
After
she was famous?
After she was with Macho Man.
Then she kind of catapulted.
Because she came back into wrestling and managed Lex Luger and other guys.
Oh, okay.
Well, listen, don't even go there. It gets me upset to even think about.
Yeah.
Let's get to some headlines. Andrew Bogish is here with all the latest.
Well, Maggie, you want to be nice to Rays fans,
I
but
do.
I will not. 19,000 and change watch yesterday's 4-0 loss to the Rangers. Now, in retrospect, it was a good idea to stay home with the team committing 4 errors to begin this best of 3. But the smallest non-COVID playoff crowd since 1919 ain't okay. And the Twins had basically the same local start time, and they had 38,000 people in their stands. So, I don't know, is the unemployment rate up in Minneapolis? You can go to games? I don't understand
No,
this.
it's been 18 years since they won a playoff game. The Twins basically have been getting ousted in the playoffs by the Yankees for the last decade and a half, 2 decades. And this is great for the Twins fans. I love it. But I can't knock the Rays fans. It's Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
It doesn't matter. Evidenced, every other place would have found at least 25,000 souls to go to a game.
And this is also a bad time for this to happen. They just broke ground on a new stadium.
I know that you get the feeling that no one really wants to pay for in Tampa.
3 o'clock's a better time for kids. This should be about kids. The problem with baseball is the demographic is aging, and they're not getting the young kids. 9 o'clock at night is not a time to get young kids. You should be all for this, Maggie.
I just don't want the Rays fans to get unnecessarily put on blast for this one. By Sunday night, you find out that there's a playoff game at Tuesday afternoon. Like, I might not be able to make it either.
But also, though, I think one thing that we're losing as well is this is Tampa. I mean, you know how many people are retired who don't actually work, who are probably Rays fans who definitely could have got out of their retirement homes or got out of their whatever they're in and went to a baseball
Get your
game.
wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Get on down the
Like,
stadium.
come on, like Florida's the retirement capital of the world.
The other
They're
thing
all
is,
Yankee fans.
it's 2023. Nobody goes to work anymore. Nobody actually works, do they?
We're 9 to 5 at least.
I know. We're the only ones actually come into an office every day. I feel like that is we're very old school.
And don't worry about putting the Rays fans on blast. All 7 of them are not going to get mad at us.
6 of them.
All right, what else?
Well, no matter who shows up today, Rays skipper Kevin Cash thinks they will get a better show than yesterday.
A lot of confidence in this group, certainly in the guy on the mound and Zach Eflin, that we can bounce back and play just a better baseball game.
Rays Rangers is again the first game of the day at 3 Eastern. Then the Twins go for a 2-0 lead on the Blue Jays at Target Field. Minnesota snapping its 19-game postseason drought yesterday, 3-1, with rookie third baseman Royce Lewis homering twice for all of that offense. The Diamondbacks, the other road team to take Game 1, 6-3 in Milwaukee. The Brewers racing to a 3-0 lead, making this the first time in 15 playoff games Arizona won after trailing by 3 or more runs. And the Phillies closed out the night with a 4-1 decision over the Marlins. RBI doubles from Alec Boehm and Nick Castellanos, while Zach Wheeler was K-ing 8 over 6 2/3. The Angels remain far from postseason baseball, and they might get worse this winter when Shohei signs elsewhere. GM Perry Manassian, all sweet and innocent about maybe that not happening.
You get the feeling that, this is a place that he really, really appreciates, respects, and we'll just have to see what happens over the course of the offseason.
What's going to happen is he's going to sign somewhere else. So you should plan accordingly, including trade Mike Trout, start from scratch. Let's do this again from the bottom up in Anaheim. Patriots linebacker Matthew Judon is having surgery today for Sunday's biceps injury. He'll reportedly miss 2 months. As we played for you last hour, Von Miller thinks he could make his season debut Sunday in London against the Jaguars. And Lions head coach Dan Campbell was on Detroit radio this morning, non-committal about Amon-Ra St. Brown and Brian Branch playing Sunday against the Panthers. St. Brown dealing with the toe injury. Branch hurt his ankle Thursday night at Lambeau. As far as St. Brown goes, the Lions could dress Jamison Williams this weekend. The young wideout is now eligible to play after the league tweaked its gambling policies late last week. Williams was initially suspended 6 games for betting on non-NFL action while at team headquarters. James Harden expected to join the Sixers at training camp in Fort Collins, Colorado today, but it's unlikely he actually joins them on the court as his push for a trade continues. And the NCAA D1 Council has approved shortening the window for players to enter the transfer portal. It goes from 60 days to 45. College football splitting those 45 between 30 days after the season, another 15 in the spring. The change was made because most decisions are made shortly after the portal opens, so 60 days seemed like too much time.
Hey, Bogusch, question.
Yeah, please.
So James Harden's going to be in Colorado, but he's not going to be on the court. So what's he doing?
He's going to stand around.
That's what he does anyway, but only in elimination games.
Yeah, I don't get it. Is it? I know isn't there a strip joint in Denver where John Morant got in trouble?
Oh, yeah, that's
so
a
I
big
know
one.
maybe that, but it doesn't feel like James Harden not playing adds anything to the Sixers camp. Like, why show up? Doesn't he still get fined or whatever the deal is?
I think it's like one of those hold-ins
Yeah.
where he's there.
James Harden is holding in?
Yeah.
What? In Colorado?
Yeah. Which is the funny thing that like they went to Colorado to be on their own, like to have their own little time and space, and now everybody is watching them because they want to see what Harden when he shows up and what he does.
Well, I also think the irony is you do these kind of trips for bonding, right? It's like you get you away from your families, it's like training camp, try to build, and now you're just going to have like weird James Harden standing off to the side, like eating by himself in the cafeteria. So silly.
Also, that you go for altitude for when the Sixers play the Nuggets in the finals, maybe early
That's
training.
true. Early prep.
Yeah. Talking about fantasy.
I'm trying to find, what was that place called? Shotgun Willie's.
Shotgun Willie's. That's Denver, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but they're not in Denver.
They're
where CSU is, Fort Collins.
Fort Collins, Colorado.
Yeah.
But by the way, Shotgun Willie's not open right now. They don't open until 11 a.m. local time. So.
But I think Dion did speak to the team at some point.
He did, yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he'll, inspire Joel Embiid. Things will be different this year. Third
the
round.
guy's the reigning MVP. He needs an inspiration from Deion Sanders.
I don't know. The Sixers have hit a wall in the second round. Yeah, I think bringing in Prime is a great idea.
What's he going to say?
Whatever Dion says.
And somehow Joel Embiid's going to remember that 6 months from now when he's up in the post against, I don't know.
Right. Down 3-2 to the Bucks.
Dion can text him right before the game and say, remember in September when I told you this in Fort Collins.
Do you know how many teams Deion's probably going to talk to between now and then? Every coach is probably calling in Deion for the pep talk.
It is kind of funny, Deion's involvement with the NBA, too. There's a lot of NBA crossover. Were there a lot of guys at the game?
Well, yeah, he said half the NBA's there. He didn't specify what year. It was like Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce haven't been in the NBA in a while. But half of the Nuggets were there, like Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Not Jokic. He has no idea.
Sixers, I think, were there, too.
And the Sixers were there, yep.
Apparently, the Sixers train in Colorado. Should have known that.
Man, I just don't think anything's going to help the Sixers, but I am all here for the James Harden weirdness. Like, let's get as weird as we possibly can.
Obviously Ben Simmons famously showed up in sweatpants at a practice. And
with the cell phone in his pocket, playing one-on-one, waiting for his agent to call.
I want James Harden to come in in just a fur coat and just really go all out because James Harden, like, if he wants to put it on, he really can.
Yeah, what do you do? Like, go to a ski slope? It's a little early for that, I guess,
Yeah. The other thing, too, James Harden actually probably needs the preseason conditioning. So maybe if he's not on the court, he could jog or something.
This is the most relatable thing about James Harden is how much weight he can gain in a short amount of time. That's the most relatable thing about him. Like, yeah, I've had a week of vacation. You come back, you're like, oh, man, I just did damage. My pants don't fit.
He's not really built like an NBA star. He's definitely like old school. Like, doesn't look like he hits the weight room that much.
He's strong.
Who lifts weights?
But he's naturally strong, like kind of like Larry Bird, right?
He lacks definition.
No, he's not like ripped, but I mean, he has big arms. Like he's a
strong.
load. Like he's very hard to keep.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I mean, like a lot of guys are just totally chiseled. Most guys are, I would say, and he's not that.
I think he's barely shouldered, but yeah.
Last thing about Shotgun Willie's here. So I'm on their website.
Why stop with this?
Well, I'm actually looking at the Yelp reviews. And the first thing it says is best strip club in Denver, but definitely go for amateur night if possible. Like, that's your claim to fame is amateur night? It's not even the women who are working there full time, the actual professionals. You should go for amateur night?
But wait, they have like open mic night at strip clubs?
Apparently they do. I feel like you'd have to sign many waivers.
Many waivers?
Yeah. NDAs.
I could see the appeal of that because
they've got my attention.
These professional strippers are obviously very professional and kind of like they're so not into it.
Oh, been there, done that.
Been there, done that. They know
going through the motions.
Yeah, going through the motions.
Much like James Harden.
Yeah. They've signed their second contract.
Right.
If James Harden showed up at amateur night, well, that would be the least, shocking thing ever. But if he performed on amateur night, now there we got a story.
Yeah, get him out of there. I think Darren Moore's like, Clippers, we'll take whatever you want.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage James Harden.
Well,
He's got to have a stripper name, though.
I was going to say the last name works.
All right, James Harden's stripper name is.
Let's not even. There's a lot of bad jokes we could say here.
There's a honey bun.
Maybe we should move on.
You just need to change the way you pronounce his last name, and you're good.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Bogish. That's why you're the newsman around here. Okay.
Welcome to the stage, James. We got a break, Maggie.
Yeah.
We got a break soon.
Something's about to come yank me away from this microphone. Like old vaudeville style. 855-212-4CBS. A lot more to get to. Thank you, Bogish. Enjoy the rest of your morning. So much more to do, including the sound we have not played that you must hear. So don't move. More Maggie and Perloff straight ahead.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. X to the Z exhibit. No, he's not part of the show. Lots going on today, including question of the day, best power couple, athlete, non-athlete together. Little inspired by Taylor Swift, Jason Kelce, but our caveat was
Travis Kelce.
Excuse me, Travis. Jason, happily married.
That would be a great couple. I know Jason is married, but Jason Kelce and Taylor Swift, there's no one who couldn't get behind that.
I'm sorry.
Talking about tush push.
I think we changed it, though. You have to be married to be part of our power couples.
Yeah,
we're not
because
doing
too many
flings here.
flings.
There's too many people in other people's DMs. Like, we can't keep track of all that
I'm disappointed, though. Didn't Dennis Rodman and Carmen Electra get married?
They did. I think it got annulled.
Okay. So it's a gray area.
Yeah. Is it on the list? Not sure. Mark is in Arizona. Has got a couple that we may have missed this morning. Hey, Mark.
Good morning and congratulations on the new time slot. And if I can take a little, make a little nod to your predecessor, I'll just say I feel good and I'm doing well.
We love DA.
I'd
So
like
happy for him.
Yeah, and you know, I'm glad the guy mentioned Rodney Pete. He went to my high school, Shawnee Mission South, in suburban Kansas City, and he also went here in Tucson to Saguaro, and where his dad Willie Pete got a job with the Chiefs. So anyway, but my three are, first of all, we'll go for the lady who passed away not that long ago. Rest in peace. She was married to the very good Angels pitcher Chuck Finley. Tawny Katan. She also married David Coverdale of Deep Purple and Whitesnake, and she was known for writhing on the top of the vehicle. So Tawny Katan.
I have
Chuck
no
Finley.
idea who this person is.
Dude.
Is that my bad?
Yeah, you young. Tawny Katan? Have you ever seen it was a
She's like
Whitesnake?
a muse?
She was an American phenomenon.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Wait, Mark,
Yeah.
quickly, what are your next two?
Okay, and the next one, very, very quickly, I know you got some stuff to do. The next one, we're going to go way back when I was in junior high, like about circa 1970. Very famous Hollywood sex symbol, Joey Heatherton, and a guy who had some problems with indecent exposure, but he was a pretty good whiteout with the Cowboys. They were actually married. Lance Rinsel and Joey Heatherton.
What?
What a heck of an intro. Okay, last one quickly. We got to
last
go.
one. We're gonna go way back. I
Oh,
think
boy.
50s, whatever. A guy, Bob Waterfield, quarterback for the Rams, and he married a very famous Hollywood pinup girl who later did bra commercials. We're gonna go Bob Waterfield, Jane Mansfield. Thanks, guys.
Okay, Jane Mansfield, I've heard of.
Bob Waterfield, I've heard of. I've heard of Joey Heatherton. Tawny Katan, the woman who danced on the sports car in the video, and it's been mocked 1,000 times. You've never seen a woman sprawled on a sports car.
I mean, I guess I have, but I didn't know.
It's literally it's in every Wayans brother movie. They do some version of this. It's a huge.
I didn't know it was based
out
off of one person. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
And Chuck, you don't remember Chuck Finley, Angels pitcher, super handsome guy? They were a big power couple. Though that ended really badly.
Okay. No,
Really,
I
really
got to go
badly.
do a little research here on these power couples. Let's get to our shot of the day.
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. Today's shot of the day comes from earlier, snapshot of the show. Perloff is going to eat a bowl of Skyline chili with no hands on Friday. Yes, he lost a bet. And he thinks he might need some weird hardware to get this done.
So my hands have to go behind my back, right?
Yeah.
No hands. Am I going to have to wear handcuffs or something? Are my hands going to be tied?
Handcuffs? This is getting weird. I think the honor system, can you not just keep your hands behind your back?
I don't know. What if my hands just sort of instinctually fly to the chili?
Float to the, so you can start shoving it in with your bare hands.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was thinking this morning, I'm like, do we need handcuffs for this? You're right. That is really weird.
I don't know if we want handcuffs just hanging around the studio either.
Bad idea.
It's like, what the hell's going on in that morning show? It's like, oh, we're a morning show / SM show. S&M. I mean, it might actually suit us. I don't know. Now I'm rethinking the whole thing. Chains, whips in the morning. It'd be different. We'd break through all the noise.
Hire James Harden to be a stripper. Come in.
On the butt. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Hart.
I am going to wear goggles. I've decided. I mean, this is just a safety issue.
You're very worried about cheddar cheese getting in your eyeball.
I bought very thick cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
Shredded cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar cheese, sharp. So,
are you going to melt this?
Well, you cook the spaghetti.
Yeah.
You heat the chili, put the chili on top, simple. Then you put cheese on it, and they're oyster crackers. Now, I don't quite know what those are for, but this is a big
crunch?
Skyline chili thing. I'm actually really excited to try it.
Are you going to eat all 4 cans? How many cans are you
No,
gonna
I think one big bowl is fair, right?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, as soon as you put your face in the bowl,
yeah, what's
the
up
rest
in there?
is up to you. I'm not gonna micromanage this one.
Is this a bad idea? When we first did this bet, I wanted to lose because I wanted to eat Skyline chili. I was hungry.
Yeah.
But now the visuals, I'm getting a little nervous about.
Well, also, you were going to eat this chili. It was going to be like 4:30 in the afternoon. And then in the midst of this, we got a morning show. And now you're going to be eating chili at like 8:30 in the morning.
I have no problem with that.
Yikes.
You don't want
This is not a breakfast food.
You don't want a bowl of chili? Right now, you could. I can eat chili. Chili is one of my favorite
I like
foods.
how we're asking that this is a if this is a bad question, if this is a bad idea now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got 48 hours to think about it. Friday, that's when Perloff eats the bowl of chili. Thank you to EJ Stewart. Thank you to Peter Bellotti. Thank you to Andrew Kaplan, to Andrew Bogish, to the Weedos and the coffee drinkers, to the callers. Phenomenal job today. We will see you back here tomorrow. Peace.